Mm-hmm. Waiting for it to go live. Okay, it says it's live here. We'll see about that.
Yep.
It is going to be a good day. Hello, Amy. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. We're sort of kind of matching. Not sure how that's happened. You know,
I don't know. I was just before you, so.
That's okay. Okay, we are going to just start talking. Today is a good day. Just remember, as you come on, you decide how you want, what do you call it? Do you want a reading? 1 minute reads? We still take those. And then if you want a, whatever that's called, pay for it, we'll expedite you. The topic is, recipe of life. Now, there is a recipe to life. And this is one of the things that you're waking up to, is finding out that, hey, wait, I'm not just human. No, you're not. And your emotional self, your mental self, and your spiritual self have a lot to do all with this physical self. This physical self wouldn't be able to form itself into matter without those other components. So what happens when your life shows up shitty? The answer can be the problem within the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual aspects. Just so you understand, again, those three components help create the physical. You just didn't pop in as physical. Okay. If you understand that all there is energy and there's only frequencies, then one of the things that you're going to understand is that when you're looking through a microscope, you almost see nothing. But then when you start to notice that there's something, but there's 99.9% space. I know I've got that percentage almost right. I know I'm missing a couple nines. But what the whole point is that nothing is really solid. This isn't really matter like we were taught, because you have to go deeper. But to have an English language that says what this is, you need to have some form of words that can define this moment. So we are all basically been taught that this is matter. Now, this matter came into with frequencies and the ability to communicate, but we call it a sensory system. I don't like the way my lips look. Just saying. I'm just waiting for people. I mean, there's lots of things I could talk about. I have had nothing but wonderful things inside my head all morning that I wish I could just walk around with a recorder attached to my head and could see how I am actually doing. Because they were giving me such in-depth light language talk, and I'm just chattering back and forth, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And it's a great conversation. And if you can record the actual light language energy, which means the words are vibration of a greater deeper standing of the word and the way the words are componently put together, they make a deeper meaning. Please ignore me talking. There. I'm unable to get to the audio or everything to work properly. Am I surprised? Is this a spiritual issue? Yes. Okay. Spiritually speaking, the spiritual quotient is part of the recipe to life. Spiritual intelligence is to mature that to which you have unconsciously, incompetent, not really been exposed to. And now some people think, oh, it's about church. No. There are steps to getting you to that ultimate part. So there's a hierarchy to some degree. So yes, finding out how to get there, church is one way. But most generally, you'll break down the component and go, wait a minute, church is not my life anymore. But you can't deny that one of the main themes was there was a connection, that there's an intelligence out there greater than you'll ever know. Because if they're part of you don't believe that, that's fine. But, think about it. Who created you? And you could logically, reasonably, excuse-wise make any reason possible. But that's not here about arguments. This is about understanding the recipe to life, having a better, healthier life. That means waking up happy. That means having a physical, healthy body, having an environment, having to work with not just your group of people, whether it's a family, a tribe, or workplace, but it's also about the connection of understanding the yin and yang, to understanding why both are needed, to the confidence of thyself. So what does all this mean? Okay. One thing out of the spiritual recipe they want you to understand, the recipe of life, is that nasty self-talk you do. How do you respond? So if a person is really in their mental space, okay, this means their thoughts aren't positive, their thoughts are attacking, their thoughts are, you're just not sure how to even focus on life. You're just like, so you can have a bad experience, you can have a bad day, you can spin out, and that's usually where the lesson will begin to lie, so you can create parameters, so you can begin to see the kaleidoscope of life. And these are perspectives. So the kaleidoscope is perspectives, okay? And the catalog of life these are the choices of the people, the personalities, the temperaments, the meta programs that all give you a way to say, this is how we're supposed to interact. What if we put these combinations together? Some people, how do we do it? Well, have you ever ran into somebody you didn't like? That's you. As an aspect, some part of your soul has decided to invest your 100% of your life force, certain percentage of that, to say, I reject that reality. I don't accept it. I don't believe that. Now, that can be anywhere from a soul contract to a bloodline, which is the epigenetics, or this life. So let's take that phrase a little bit further. So who you like is an aspect of you. Who you don't like is an aspect of you. People will get stuck on the first part, which is what I did too. Well, I'm not Hitler, Yeah, I that's not me. So you're taking a person and you're saying, I don't like them, and you're looking at all of their qualities and their behaviors, and you know that that's not how you'd want to be. It's fine. No one says you are, but you have invested energy to keep that story alive until you learn to return yourself back to love. Okay? So that means somewhere along the way, you've had an encounter that pulled you from the center of the frequency of love. And I'm not talking about love equals hate, love is messy, love is that. Love, in the aspect of true love, is actually just love equals love. The many levels to love, those are the experiences that you will create, those perspectives on that kaleidoscope. You will take yourself further into who you're not to really appreciate who you are. So the choices, you can really begin to understand why you chose them, why you're doing the things you're doing. You're starting to find the purpose and the importance, the value to why you chose this particular hologram, this particular life. So on a spiritual aspect, what you're supposed to mature, making the unconscious conscious and the incompetent learning about it and being very competent about it. So you're going to go through the levels of competency. And there's usually 4 of those. But we're going to talk about how you go from one level to the next. Okay. There are things you don't know you need to know in order to grow. As you end up coming into a situation and everything's great, but then you and your partner begin to argue. Do you take offense? Do you put up a wall? Do you go into your personality of you had to become timid because this energy over here was very lofty, and so then you abandon yourself because you didn't know how to cope, handle, and deal. Now that's usually be your clue, cope, handle, and deal. So you'll go into a certain amount of self-talk. So if somebody hurts you, you're going to go, fine. Okay. And then you're going to lash out. You're going to have negative thinking. Again, you're fulfilling this kaleidoscope of perspectives. What does this mean? Fine. You go do that. I don't care. See if you can live without me. Or, literally you will begin to go through a whole range of thinking. Because why? Because the feeling of love equals love is off. Now you need to return to love, but we use the mental intelligence of these self-talk, of these words, of these definitions of these words, and the arrangements of these words to create sentences, phrases, metaphors. But we're the one that assigns meaning to it all. So when you're talking to your friend and you're giving the meaning of it, she can jump on board and go, oh, yeah, okay, I get that too. Oh, yeah. Or no, you can have minions. Oh, yeah. They reach down into their first 3 chakras and their data centers and they go, okay, yeah. Look. I agree. So then we end up having people that can come together on traumas and dramas or stories and wars, competition. But again, you're raising your level of consciousness. That's what you are. To do that, it's not about judging. It's about discerning. Do you need to keep thinking, feeling, acting, being, and dreaming that way? Is it your dream or is it somebody else's? Do you come too complacent? And so your soul says, okay, you're getting kind of lazy on the physical level. We need to project out some asshole to come push on you and make you go, fine, and then just take action. And your little self that's immature says, I have to have permission so I can, so I don't have to do what I don't want to do. But where did the idea that you didn't want to do it, where does it come from? Where do all these troubles come from? Okay. There are primal needs. And my definition of primal needs is to stay dry, to be fed, to be loved, to have water, to be understood, to, just that. And I had someone recently says, oh, you mean children have sex? I'm like, that's not the primal urge. As far as I said, a primal need are the needs. Now, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay, I'm looking at the very bottom part for you to understand that it is part of that need that pushes you. And sometimes we become so complacent because we're so good at being in our comfort zone and our programs that we don't have to do any effort. It is 90% of the same thoughts I had the day before is today, and the day before is today, and anything I had yesterday is going to help create today. And if you didn't intentionally choose to want to do the future, then you won't realize that you are a program. Now, most of you have these thoughts. Some of you will be stuck in the negative mental attitude and not know that it has been born out of sour grapes. It's born out of, that's just what your environment was. But how do you get yourself to go into a positive mental attitude? Now, if you are moving into that, and to which is, I'm going to practice intentionally, I'm going to do things with a positive mental attitude, that's great. But you're always going to fall backwards. And yes, I heard the word. Yes, you heard the word always. Why? Well, let me explain why. Because that's not your root. You came in with, even though you've entered the body, you basically don't come online until about the age of 7. What do you mean, Brenda? Okay. So as you begin to enter into this physical form, you come into a state of observing. The apps are already uploaded. The app is, this is how mom is going to take care of me. This is how papa's going to take care of me. This is how my siblings are going to act. Are we going to involve church or not? Are we going to involve school or not? What type of foods? You know, I grew up on meat potatoes. Where'd the veggies go? I don't know. Didn't even know what one looked like, I think, until I got older. Not to bash my mother. But what were we exposed to? What did we have? Was there any food left? Was there none? How do you feed a family that there's no money? What do you do? So you don't need to go to judgment. The point is that what programmed you to be? Then by about the age of 7, you know, you have a tendency to become more aware. Okay, so let me just back it up. By the age of 2 or 3, you begin to think what other people think. So that RTJP kicks in and you're looking around going, oh, you know, so you learn how to share, you learn how to do things, but you're still quite a bit of a learning how to work with the program. You haven't maintained it. You're starting to shut down your abilities depending on what's going on inside of your environment that you are choosing to live in. And then by the age of 7, it is a different form of thinking comes in, and you are beginning to start to adventure more, form more of your identity. By the time 13, your hormones are kicking in, which needs you now. You need a little bit more independence, and you need a little bit more adventure into growth. And then when you finally get into your next phase, you are then really adventuring without having any parental babysitting. Can you do it? If you have not been prepared, or you have a soul contract that says something different, you may not be. How did, you know, do I care more about others than I do myself? Are there days where I just fall into a program and don't care if I wash my hair or take a shower or even eat? You know, what happens? Why are these programs there? Again, there are different meta programs, personality combinations, energy combinations that will create you. Now, my students are learning this, but it's about taking in that piece of information, but living it, expanding on your experiences, learning to cultivate yourself. And if you use tools, then you're going to be able to take yourself to the next step of growth, your spiritual growth. But that still doesn't really take and define what spiritual issues are. So your spiritual quotient is, whether it's a low, that means you're going to have more troubles in your life because your physical self does not really get its program until you have written it. So your spiritual information will come through the mental and emotional, the physical. And if it shows up physically, that means then you have a spiritual issue. If life sucks, and then you have a spiritual issue. So when I'm doing the readings, I'm tapping into those bodies, those energy fields. And as I'm looking at the emotions, I can begin to see through the energy of all of the chords that begin to tell your story on this slice of perspective. As I'm connecting to you and you're like, yeah, that's my emotion. Yeah, that's it. You're identifying what you already know. But then you have to make the decision and give yourself permission to want to change it. So if you are used to sitting there and getting your feelings hurt and your husband's judging you based on you don't do this, you don't do that, and you're feeling like, well, F you, I'm trying to do my best, or you don't know the whole story. So there's all of these little tiny components. For instance, what if the wife is doing a billion things and he only sees one thing? Or what if he's sitting there and he's looking at that one thing that you've never touched and he's complaining? He doesn't understand what's going on. And this is what happens to humans in general, male or female. Okay. And this is my perspective. I'm looking out and I can give you my strong opinion, which I think this is the way you should do it. Or you look a little deeper and you'll hear within that paradigm, well, if I can't do it, you can't do it. And that's not how you do it, because I know how to do it. Let me show you how I do it. Go a little deeper. And that boils down to, it's all about what? It's me. I'm looking at everybody, and this is a form of judgment. I'm looking at everybody, and you don't do it that way. This is the way you do it. You can't think that way. Oh, you can't. You did not have that experience, because I didn't have that experience. And yet, what defines us individually is those experiences that we've had. And we've defined those experiences in such a way. But when somebody tells you that they don't validate you, they don't believe you, then it can get very lonely. Again, more spiritual issues. Because you're standing in a position where you don't know how to handle these emotions. You don't know what to do with them. So you have to cope, handle, deal, and pacify. And you store them. And you do your best to survive, stop going insane, and change your moments. That's great. That's great. Your time marches on. And forgetting helps you heal. But does it take care of the root? Does it stop you from repeating the same stories? Okay, just think about this. Now, it's all good to see all these wonderful people here. I appreciate it. Remember to share and to help the other people wake up in this world. So, an average day. When somebody hurts your feelings and you can't communicate with them and they do an action, what kind of ping pong, you remember that game, ping pong? What kind of ping pong thinking do you do to yourself? I got to think what they think. I'm going to come up with the answer of how they thought they think I'm going to give that answer. And then I'm going to counteract that answer. But then if I act this way, then maybe they're going to act this way. And you ping pong, ping pong. But then they're still doing that action. Oh, fine. See if I care. You want it that way? Fine. That's fine. You go do that. So there's now a convincing to help you cope, handle, and deal with why they acted that way. But it doesn't take care of the root, it just drives and fires and wires you to get into that state of thinking, which then the frequency will drive you further into negative mental attitude. Pessimistic, optimistic. It's how you lick your wounds. It's how you've coped, handled, dealt, and pacified with what life threw at you. But to tell you the truth, it's a vibrational frequency match. The universe is responding to you. The universe gives you things that you think and say and do. And you're like, yeah, but how come when I'm sitting there bitching about my wife, she isn't really showing up that way, or is she? Oh, I believe he's cheating on me. I know he is, but he hasn't. But give it time. You're going to create the situation where he's going to have to pull away. Now let's take it to this step. This is a lot of where you're going to need to do your spiritual growth. Are you ready? When you're sitting there thinking, and you're mulling and you're bitching. You are rehearsing, memorizing, creating stories of how you're going to be able to cope, handle, deal, and overcome these thoughts, these actions, these words. Will start creating stories that aren't really there. And that doesn't mean you're crazy, it just means you're creative. You'll go into, oh, this is, I'm doing it for good intentions. But whose benefit? For yours? Because you didn't like what you saw, so you had to change it. Usually it's the lack of communication. But when you sit there and you think and think and think in a negative mental attitude, it begins to draw you deeper into the depths of fear. This is where most people feel like they've gone crazy. And when you can't make it stop, it really pushes you to the edge of insanity. It's very, very important. If you just did one thing and stuck to that one thing. But then when I talk to people, I realize they don't really want out of that one thing. You know, and I just want to cry because I want to help, but no, leave me alone. I'm like, okay, we'll do just that. Sometimes the pain, you have a chemical addiction, emotional chemical peptide addiction. It is what you know so deeply that you said, this is my pain, and you have identified with that pain. And this is where the maturity now is in your court. What is that one thing I want you to do when you're so far into that pain? Putting your hand on your forehead? That's stupid. Ain't gonna work. How do you know? Have you tried it? Yes, see, it didn't work. Was it 2 seconds or 3? I did it long enough. Why are you arguing with me? Is it because you want to keep it? Well, who the hell would want to keep this? Oh, okay. Getting you to understand the importance is the science behind it. But even if I shared with you the science behind it, just doing this, would you do it? I'm not giving you proof of the before and after and the feeling of the good. But would you do it? What keeps you coming back to that hell? And this is why you have to go deeper on your questioning and your healing. And when you were completely ready, I've decided that I can't figure somebody out. So I'm going to stay there and think about it until I figure them out. Your emotions are going to keep you tethered to that spot, and you're going to go around and 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 around until you dig a rut to the point where you can't get out. But you won't know this. the fear of being controlled, the lack, the deprived. It's just these two energies. And when you feel like, well, I want to be pushed, or I have to make my kids hard so they can go out into that cruel world. And you're talking about older paradigms. It dismisses love. So it doesn't allow your heart to get crushed. These are different ways. But we're growing out of that. There is this belief that there's something that's more controlling. And it has you by the throat. Or fear and phobias. Because the pictures in your mind, that's all you see. Nobody wants to lose their identity. Ask somebody that has amnesia and trying to remember. It's finding that sense of connection. Where do you come from? Ask any orphan. Ask any child that's been sitting there and don't have no idea who their parents are. It goes back to those needs. And when those needs are fulfilled, there's that sense of wellness and roundness. But you can't go back to that. Yes, you can. You can heal those. You can look at those and you can go deeper. You need to really pay attention. Because if you're hurt and if you're licking your wounds and he's a dickhead, fuck off, and you're thinking about it and you have these resonation of resentment, you're going to destroy a relationship that you never wanted to destroy. Those thoughts will drive you so far deep that the person that you're so madly in love with, why did the change? Well, they did it. No. Just a minute. If you're sitting there going, that bastard, he just left his underwear on the floor again. Oh my God, doesn't he know how to put water in a dish? Ah! And you think, and you think, and you think, and you think, what are you doing to your heart? What are you doing to that relationship? You say you want it. But man, I can't tolerate it anymore. Ugh! What drove you there? Thoughts? Emotions? Chances are they've done something to piss you off and you had a, it's that, you got those flaws too. Sometimes you have to be reminded, like when you have children and you're like, goddamn kids. Do you remember the day you found out you're pregnant or the day you had that child and all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, there it is, poke. Oh, don't make it cry, but oh, that's real. Oh. And then it hurts itself and you're like, oh my God, your heart about falls out of your chest. When I saw my son get hit by a baseball bat in the head, I thought I was going to die. A big chunk of my love, my heart just, I was like stuck in this. Well, good thing spiritually, everything else kicked in. But I've often had dreams where I couldn't save anybody. But yet I'm very good in a crisis. Go figure. What do you need to spiritually evolve today? What spiritual intelligence? How do you raise the spiritual intelligence, that spiritual quotient? How do you raise it? You got to first notice what you're doing. how you're responding. How are you coping? Is that working for you? When you get caught up on a loop and just sit there and resent, one little thing they do, like fart wrong. Oh my God, that's it. Last straw. And if you really build up a defense about how much you hate it, your body is going to act like it's dying. Okay, can't live there anymore. That's it. I'm done. Or what if you want to go towards love, but all of your roots says, run, run, run. You're going to destroy with self-sabotage. Now, we talked a lot about how you give your power away, and that's of a prostitution. How to the point where you've given your power away so much that you have no power left. Now you're the victim. Well, what does it mean to be a saboteur? Not sabotaging others, but sabotaging yourself. Those walls we have around our heart, and they're not just walls. We don't know how to cope, handle, and deal with life. And I think it's about time that we begin to do so. Sometimes I feel like I need to play a little game. How many hopes do you see in this space? And eventually we're going to do these little games even with YouTube. Think about it. How many hopes do you see? Sometimes Amy says she only sees 2. There's more. And it has a lot to do with the fact that you may have to zoom in. I mean, I know where they are. The darkest, even when you can't find them, there is that light that pulls you out. But the question is that do you want to, or do you want something else? Because habits will pull you back in of all the hard work you've done. Habits will pull you back in. When are you going to take control of those habits? And I'm not talking about I'm overeating or I'm smoking too much. We already know the urge. Oh, we can't overcome the urge. Oh my God. Well, it's the same thing with thoughts. You can't get out of that negative mental attitude because you're addicted to it. And the only way to do that is you have to break the stronghold, the chemical peptide chemistry that drives you. Okay. I think that's deep enough. I want your feedback. I want your thoughts. Right now, I want your thoughts. Have you done it? Can you see yourself? Did it make sense to you? And if you have emailed your 1 minute, great. And if there is anybody that that's paid, then we'll do the expediting. Remember, you can come into the room. You don't have to be seen. Your voice can be heard. We can hide you in the corner. Let's put baby in the corner.
Corner.
You know what? I feel a little Halloweenish. But that's okay.
I don't know how you and I managed to coordinate wardrobes again.
I don't know, but we're getting more and more in sync. Today's the day we do what? All right, so all you beautiful people, let me just see what you have said. Oh, good, James. I just spoke straight to you. Yes, love it. It was deep, beautiful. Thank you. Ah, we have our first one, and she will be admitted. And I got to give Amy allowances, make her co-host. Oh, Hello, beautiful.
Hello, my gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you are beautiful.
How can I help you, honey?
Yeah, well, everything you're saying, you mentioned complacent. I'm very complacent, and I know I've got still so much to heal within myself. I'm in this comfort zone. I don't know if there's a lot of fluctuating emotions, but I still have this same issue with habits that I know are not good for my health. I'm setting myself back, I know, but I don't know how I can shift that. Like, I don't feel like there's an easy answer for me in moving forward with the way I've been. I've been very complacent for a very long time. Like, I feel like I'm just literally just existing and watching the world go by. And I feel okay with that, and I feel like that's just my comfort zone. But I know I need to get out of my comfort zone. But what is it that I need to do to take myself out of this? Because it's been a very long road for me with this habitual. I go in circles with it, and I know that all I'm doing is affecting myself in a negative way, but then the ego is there telling myself that this is how I need to be, and it's okay, but I feel like I'm just wasting my time, and I'm not thriving.
Okay, and that's what we want us to thrive. Now, we're going to get into that, but Spirit has also said, have you seen your spiritual growth? So Michelle is in our tribal unit, and one of the things is that she has great intuition. She's developed that over time. And how can sometimes your intuition gets a little messed up by saying, okay, I need to trust my gut instinct about something. Okay, maybe about a person, about this and that. And you fully convince yourself about this situation. Now, there's a question. Yes, maybe this person you're addressing is having the issue. You're like, yeah, they're a butthead. But why is it that she or you would respond? Now, what you've learned, and you heard your language when you were looking through it.
Yes.
What kind of growth pattern? Now, this is the wisdom that comes out of something, no matter how horrific it could be. I want to see if you retained that wisdom. Do you remember?
About the filter, the ego mindset.
Yes, about the fact is that you looked at somebody and you said, no, nothing's right. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I'm hearing good news. I'm going to approach. Okay, and you approach this person, but then when the simple act of somebody rejecting you in whatever form they did, whether it was nice or mean, whatever, did you feel that, how that responded?
Oh, I in a big way. I learned that it's something that I had to learn about myself from my past emotional experiences when it started at 3 years of age, I feel you said.
I think it was 4, but anyways, then, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that it popped up as a trigger, as a learning experience for me to discern when I am in the seeing through the nasty filter of this ego. But it's important for it was important for this to happen for me so that I could grow out of it and get rid of those emotional how do you explain it, those negative emotions. So it's something that you can't necessarily control, but I have to acknowledge it and see it for what it is and heal it out and realize that it's about me and my emotions and what I have learnt as a child and what I've absorbed.
Good. So you noticed that when you approached energetically, you approached this other person and you were reaching out in a very loving manner, and they were able to say, I can't, for whatever reason's going on, but how did you took it was what you were learning. You're like, oh, I perceived it this fashion. And there was a great amount of loss of physical life force to it because it took you in a spiral of a negative thinking.
Yes, the
and
ego.
Then, yes, ego. And then all of a sudden you came up with excuses and reasons and stories. You had proof to back you up. And when I showed you just the two energies, there was a part of you that started having an epiphany that, wait, whoa, wait a minute. This is me responding to something I didn't even know I was responding to. And your spiritual growth, I watched it start to bloom when you started to get the epiphany that, wait a minute, why did I have to see it that way?
Exactly.
And I didn't convince her to look. I just said, just take another look. And when she noticed she was in her ego mindset versus her spiritual mindset, then all of a sudden she's like, shit, there is a filter. This is it. Oh my God, and she started to really, so she popped out with her authentic self, popped out in a position that could see that this doesn't have to be real. And so she, at that moment, she could take her power back. Did you do that healing, the holding?
Oh yeah, I did. Yep, I did. And I felt like once I surrendered with your help to the understanding of that's not my authentic self. This is not real. I feel like the ego can tell you stories and lies when I'm not looking at my authentic self there when I'm in the ego. So it was a really good reminder and such a good learning experience for me. But it can just come at you at times. But and I feel it's important though that's what life's about, isn't it? Is that we're with acknowledging these emotions that come up, to acknowledge it and discern it, and not and eventually just be able to observe these things rather than and to heal these things that have happened, that have attached itself to me all these years. Now it's gone because I've healed it out with your help.
So you could actually see how your thinking was, and then when I asked you to apply the tool, you felt like, yes, it's a 10, and then this is all the way it could be, and then all of a sudden it started to go down.
Yep. I felt like it was just like it just went away. I felt a sense of peace and calm, and I felt like I was in my authentic self.
Good.
The emotions had gone out of it. I was trying to the ego can play games. I found it was playing games with me. That story was still running in my head, and there was that stubbornness to it. But then once, with your help, I surrendered to that understanding, then I felt a wave of relief, and it was released, and I healed that out. Which
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So now you can trust yourself a little bit more too now, because you're starting to realize you don't have to believe everything you tell yourself.
No, exactly.
And now when it comes to the habit, so now when we're going to look, I'm going to ask, why did she become complacent? Well, you're aiming more to the comfort aspect of what's important to you, okay? Which is not a bad thing. It's like I don't wear high heels because I like comfort, so I'll buy tennis shoes. Even when I wear a dress, I don't care, okay? But there's a part of when you go into a complacent, and yet you can feel a part of you that needs to grow, but you can't do it. You don't feel efficient, like you don't have the tools. And I'm fully aware of that. So it's like, how do you wake up? Does somebody have to bitch slap you? So this is what we got to do. So now we're looking at the complacent part of it. And again, you don't want to go there for the reason. Now, when it takes a habit, so let's say uh, a bad habit will be, gives you that comfort. It gives you that joy. It gives you that somebody gave me a hug, put all the pieces together. That's what a habit does. Okay?
Yep.
So that means that you had to have been falling apart. So in order for you to change the habit, if we were to take and clear the root, but you also have to notice and wake up and going, oh my God, an hour's passed and I'm still doing this habit. You really have to become more in tune with, do I want that habit? Now, this is where you'll argue with yourself because, oh yeah, I really do. Okay, this is where it gets all crazy. So there's a lot to a habit step, but you have to also connect with yourself saying, do I really want to think this way? Do I really want to feel this way? You got to wake up to how a habit functions. So for you, when it comes, so is there any particular habit you want me to address, just really depth?
Okay, I self-medicate.
Okay, so very good. Self-medicate is there. Oh, you don't want to feel that. So do you know what superior and inferior is? Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
There are often times when your little self didn't like the feeling of being inferior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And there's an actual feeling that you're like, I don't want to do that again. Okay? So literally you will self-medicate because there's a part of you that can't make that feeling stop. So you will feel helpless.
Mm-hmm.
So that helplessness is a particular feeling. Those two alone cause you to say, my security is upset. I need to be in alarm. I don't want to be weak. And if I ask, okay, so why? They says, because it's coming. I says, what's coming? The bulliness. Okay. So there's a part when you start to feel those things, there's a consequence coming. You can begin to feel it. There was a part of you that says, I don't want to feel that. I don't want that. Okay. Now over time, your body has been in a certain state that it can't live without it. There's a great fear that I'm not going to be able to survive without it. And it boils down to, let's say, the insecurity will come in. Let's say, oh, I can't sleep unless I use sleeping medication.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to survive. I'm going to drive myself crazy at night. I've tried it once. I can't do that. And this is where you have to employ spirit. And you'll say, thank you, spirit, for helping me overcome this. And then what will happen is the things that would, besides habit and having to confront it and saying, I'm going to say no to it. And like I said, for the feeling we need to bypass it is it's just hopeless because you said, I tried to change something and I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to change something. And I'm saying, okay, so let me ask, why would you start? Your 1-year-old self told yourself that I don't know what to do with overwhelm. So it boils down to, I don't like the overwhelmed feeling. So like, let's say you're trying to fall asleep. You can't shut the thoughts off. That's overwhelmed thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It'll control you. Or during the day, you'll see trigger and it's overwhelm. So we want you to take care of your overwhelm. So just start holding L1D while I'm talking. Can you put the phone down or in this position?
Yeah.
So you can hold left wrist, first position.
Yep.
And then put your thumb in nice and deep. Now remember, everything usually will fall back onto how the heart has taken that moment. And it's frightfully overjoyed. Okay, so the frightfulness is what you could pass. You couldn't get past. You're like, the overwhelm. Just feel it. And one of the things you're going to have to face is, I did not know how to handle overwhelm. Because it took away the confidence. It demoralized you. It changed you. And so you don't have the confidence to be able to overcome because you couldn't stop that moment at 1.
Wow, 1 year old.
Yes. So,
Right.
so what you're going to do is that you're going to understand that you didn't get acknowledgement. You got something nasty in return, and that shocked you. So I'm going to mute you. I'm going to have you heal. Do you have time to heal right now? I would say just stay there and keep your hand on L1D. Now I'm going to mute you, and then we'll check back in with you, okay?
Okay. Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, remember to measure it, sweetheart.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so now, Amy, how are we doing? Is there anybody else?
I don't know about
Oh, let me check. How about if I check, Amy? That might be a good thing. We have, as soon as my computer works with me. Okay. That one and that one. James. James. So now we have to find where James is. And he's on this computer. Let's look. All right, so I see you, did you pay for 2? Is that correct? All right, so we'll wait for James to pop in so he can talk to me. We'll go from there. We'll wait a minute. So it is important that you begin to hear and to notice that you do not have to be stuck as this victim or stuck as this complacent part of you is like, okay, I'm just going to do this because it's comfortable and this is what I know and this is my routine and this is what sometimes you have to be shaken out of your comfort zone, but you can change and help yourself heal. You really can. So it was good when you hear Michelle, she's intuitive, she's this, that, and she knows. And then all of a sudden it was like her, your mom's here, Amy, just to let you know. She's driving me crazy now.
Brenda.
Cancel. To get that difference and if she can start, so she knows emotionally that she can get the difference. Sometimes you have to attack that particular part of you with a healing tool, because you can't meet a habit head on. And sometimes the habit is just, I don't want to take a shower. Or the habit is I don't want to brush my teeth. Or the habit is I don't really know how to take care of myself or go out in the physical world to get a job. Those are habits just like the habit of self-medicating and cigarettes and eating. And what does it really boil down to? It's boiled down to the 2 energies. It really does. Okay, James, have you, let's find out where James is at. What do you want to talk about, hon? Oh, you pay it forward. How many did you pay for, sweetheart? Just want to make sure I understand my thing. Oh, there it is. Melody has now officially, broke up with me. We've had a very loving and good relationship. I figured out that it wasn't my hate for Jamie. It was hers that we talked about last night. Now she is just ignoring me most of the time, answers, with one word, I don't know what to do. Now, see, again, she's okay. When you start to grow, especially in relationships, honey, there's the one thing you have to understand, and that is, oh my God, I found the love of my life. But if you haven't really grown and you're connecting with them, and then all of a sudden you start to see their behavior, do you really need to put up with that behavior? Especially if they're using it because they don't know what to do with their emotions. And this is huge. If she hates Jamie that much, she wants you to control you in a certain way so she can take care of those feelings. It's her job to be responsible how she's supposed to handle those feelings. And she needs to become the emotional intelligence is that that's what she needs to grow from, you know, and she'll get there someday. And she has to have all these experiences of coming to terms with, I don't like this person. That's fine. But can you heal it? Can you go further? For you, you're starting to notice, do I really need to be stuck in these old patterns and habits of being addicted to, this is who I'm supposed to attract to my life? So let's see, he says, now she just ignoring me. Most of the time answers with one word. I don't know what to do. Do your speech today spoke straight to me with the thoughts of, oh my gosh, I can't stand that. I can't stand this, but I still wanted to be in that relationship. I may have gone to my bad habits. Yes. And James, yes. You're waking up, honey. You have chosen that healing tools are a very important part of your growth. We probably could do more if it was one-on-one, but you're doing your best, and I'm proud of you for that. And what you're noticing is that I don't really want to go back to what hurt me. And that's huge because most people don't know this. So to help James a little bit further is that you feel like you're supposed to be responsible for them being galled that the situation is happening. And this puts you in that victim mode, and it puts you into that self-sabotaging because you want to please her, you want to get things back, which means you are losing power to the situation. Yeah, and you've moved into the relationship aspect of repulsion. Even though you and Melody had great love, because of the thinking, the gall, the resentment, and bringing it to the table, it pushed you guys farther apart. You could get back to this, but are you meant to with her? Is she able to process out and not go back there? My ex said, hey, he accused me of something which wasn't true. And then but he couldn't let it go. And I says, well, heal it out. Oh, I have. And it's like, but then he would just be stubborn. And then all of a sudden he's like pretending like it didn't show. And then 2 months later, he brought it up and started all over again. And I said, you know, I'm so done. I'm so done of taking on the thinking that you thought I did when I didn't do it. And I'm done. 20 years of hell, that's enough. I don't want to see you go through that. I mean, if you have to go through that length of time, then so be it. But you know that so far the relationship is lofty, lofty, lofty. Who's in charge? What are we going to do? We got to fight. Da, 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 da. And so there's no love that can come to the table. So you're constantly out of sync. I mean, you can blame it on the ex, but it's your soul wants to move on. What you don't like about her is what you don't like about yourself. And sometimes it is this broadcast message that you have to act mean in order to survive. You have watched and witnessed and had seen throughout different aspects of your life growing up that this is what you're supposed to do. But you are beginning to realize, but I don't want to have to act mean just because I'm a guy, or I don't want to act mean because this is what a relationship is. I don't want to have to control you, make you behave so that I can have a life, or I don't want to be controlled so that we can have a life. You're moving. Okay. So James, remember, this is all locked in the heart. So when you feel like you just I'm just going to change myself so I can have them back. When you start throwing in the towel and changing yourself for them, then you're going to have to start all over from the beginning. You need to literally change yourself for yourself. I don't like this part of myself. So you change yourself for yourself. What happens is that you're going to start to vibrate at a higher frequency. Instead of a lower negative frequency, you vibrate at a higher frequency, and eventually you're going to vibrate high enough. And when you vibrate high enough, you're going to be out of sync, which means you can either go back to hell Or you can say, I want better for me. So I'm going to change this feeling I have. I'm going to change the way I have to think and believe and behave. I'm going to change this for myself. And when you do, you change it. You look at your kids and you're like, you know what? Daddy's going to change himself for you guys because I'm doing it for myself because I know I want to be a better father, or I want to be this. And I want to set a better example. And so you go in and you change yourself, your frequency is going to be higher. You're going to actually attract healthier, stronger relationships. And let me tell you, James, you are going to find a woman because that's just in your nature. You have, it's part of who you are. And I want you to start vibrating, attracting healthier alignment for you. Okay. So you're going to eventually heal. What we just talked about, feeling vulnerable, uncomfortable, having to cope, going back to your hell. L1D, people, this is the heart. That's first position. Put your thumb in nice and deep. Remember to put your thumb, he knows the rest. And when you feel like you can't figure it out, or if you're muddled, oh, I better change myself for them. I got to play this cat and mouse game, all this. And I just, and you go into that negative thinking, just do L1D. Okay. The next part would be when they begin to act a certain way and you can't help this compulsion. Okay. And this compulsion, that happens, forces you to behave the way they want. Okay. Did you get that part? It forces you to behave the way they want. And you're, and so you feel like you got to correct yourself. This is what happens when you get a narcissistic energies. Well, they told me they want you to do R3S. That's right wrist. First position, nice and soft. Okay. When you feel compelled that you have to live the way they want. So, and because you're willing to give up yourself in order for this moment is good. Okay. We're back in sync, just temporarily. And we're all tensed up. And it's quiet. It's good. You're not really in sync. You're just sacrificing your energy. You're changing who you are. Okay. So those two things, and keep going back to it because you're ready to take this growth out of that uncompetence, meaning you're already starting to make conscious and you're like, making the connections, starting to see the habit. And so because you're doing that, you are now becoming more competent. And when you start to do that, you're going to switch into the next part of your level of growth. I know you can do this, James. I can see it in the cards. You are doing this, James. You have done this. You just have to heal it out. You can do this. I love you. No, camera's over here. I love you. Okay. And James has paid it forward. So James' name goes in twice. You only got what? How many more days? 5-6 days until the end of, 5 more days. And then we will be taking a drawing for somebody to win that 15 minutes with me here on the show. What's that, Ames?
2 shows.
2 shows. You only get 2 shows to do this. 2 shows that you still can. And so James's name's in the jar. Ooh, that's a nice jar. Yes.
I'd say probably 50 names.
50 names. And then eventually, so right now she collects them in a jar and she crushes them up just right so that they all have these little pick me. And then she'll put them into the hope chest and then she'll draw them on that day and we will get to see that live. And that's going to be exciting. Now, remember, we do it right on the beginning of the month, whatever show that falls on, which I don't know what day that is, but we go straight to the end of the month to collect as many names as possible. So we do have a pay it forward. So please say yes, please. And if you have said it, Amy's got your name in the jar or the drawing, whatever jar she's using. I know there's more. Okay.
It's a Rubbermaid tub.
Okay. So now she's going to collect names. I'm going to double check to make sure that, and
Amy's been spinning the whole show. Been fine.
Amy's been spinning, and even though there was a message forward, Spirit wanted me to ask her in a different way. So I think that's interesting. Okay, so Amy is spinning. Now, first of all, Amy, when I give attention to somebody else, how do you feel? Do you have to go, me first, me first?
I think maybe subconsciously I do.
Love me. Okay, well, she knows. She's a grown-ass woman. She knows. But she's had to fight for attention all her life. And so these programs of the dark night of the soul, that means that the program is going to kick off. Now, she's not in the dark space yet, but when she is, if she can learn how to heal it, then she won't need a bitch slap to get out of it. Exactly. She can change the spiritual intelligence by changing the very thing. Now, every time she asks me for help and every time we go into soul coaching or any type of healing, she takes that information and she can apply it to her life so that she can do it with grace and ease. That's why you come to the shows. That's why you have me help you. You love to be paid attention to. Just admit it.
Yeah.
And it feels good when, hey, I know Brenda, everybody like me. And hey, and again, her addiction is to constantly talk to people and to get that feedback. And if the person, her mama, doesn't give her the attention she needs, what happens?
She starts spinning.
So, and maybe the negativity thought may not be there, but there's a part of her that begins to spin out. In a gallbladder meridian, it's spinning out means that you can also run to the end of the timeline, and which is you're running with scissors. You're just going there. But if you don't have that negative thought, your energies will still spin. And so you're creating an experience. So like, Brenda will talk to me if I have an issue because that's what Brenda does. Okay. And the thing is that the spinning is also a phobia. The fear of not being seen. The fear of not being seen. And the thing is that she's not crying for attention. Oh, look at me. It's not that she's being a big ass baby like every negative person out there that just goes, oh my God, I can't stand that. This is not what we're saying. These are programs. Half of the time she has no idea that these figures are running. But if she sat there and thought about it, she could actually hear the words. So if she really wanted to heal it, and here it says, no, she don't really want to heal it. She likes that confirmation she gets when people look at her. See, that's two different things now. Did you hear that? It's the confirmation that makes her feel whole. So the only way that she can feel whole is from an external source. So in a way, the only way she can be happy is from an external source. And now she has to learn how to go inside to find out that that's not true. It's going inside and finding out that it's her responsibility. It's her, she already has the happiness. She doesn't feel like she's lost it, but it's turning it in. So the first part will be R3S. The second part will be R1D. And so R1D is all about that overcompensating, and I have to go externally to get this. If I do more and show more, then, you know, but at the same time, this gets confusing because she's learning her life purpose. She's needed, which she'll get more out of it once she takes care of the phobia and she starts taking care of that other issue I explained. Because part of her purpose, somebody gave her a reading and it wasn't me. You're going to be a teacher or leader. Which was it? Remember it?
Yeah, a teacher.
Yeah. And I remember your response. What? Me?
Yeah.
You couldn't even fathom the idea. No, Brenda's a teacher. She's the teacher. He's a teacher, but not me. It's time for her to spiritually grow up now, to step into her big girl panties and allow her to realize that she's going to be an adult, but not in a bad way. In a very Oprah Winfrey way. It's stepping into her. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think you ever thought you would ever go there. You probably already thought you were there, and this is all that Amy's ever going to be, but that's not true. She's like, fuck, I can be more than this? Yes. Don't mean to scare you, but it also feels a little good, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
So you had to learn to give up your expectations so long ago. And all you focused on was the need that you couldn't get. But you have that need filled. You just don't know it. So you can actually begin to stop that particular habit. Your energy will actually push people away. Okay? So you will have to re-listen to this and make sure you put a timestamp so you can figure out what points you're supposed to hold. Now, I'm going to get back to Michelle. Oh, we got to get the volume. There you go. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Good. So that was interesting. I literally just put my arm down because I got a bit fatigued. But it was interesting that I could see that part of me did not want to let go of overwhelm because I thought I got it to 0. I wanted to get to 0, but then I was questioning myself, do I really? Because that number 4 just kept from 0, then it kept popping up to 4. So I'm thinking, okay, does that mean that I'm not ready, or I don't really want to get rid of that overwhelm? So anyway, that was good because, yeah, so how do I really surrender to really want to get rid of it? Because there's part of me that I think that still wanted to hang on there.
I'm very proud of you. That's huge to admit. It's hard to admit, but it's huge to admit because people want me to help them heal, but you have to come to terms with that. Now, it's serving her. She gets to do the journey of how is it serving me? Is it really serving me? And that's where you can really begin to look at it. And you then will have to switch to L3S, left wrist, third position. Nice. And why? Because again, how is it serving me? In this case, does it help you to avoid something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think it's I don't know. Yeah.
You don't want to give up overwhelm because it's like this. I'm going to forgive you, but I won't forget. And you will hold this, but it'll own you. And that's why it's important that when fear says, or when ego says, I'm going to help you by, conquering this fear by holding on to the fear, and then the fear gets worse, it's not helping you. You were trying to figure out how to overcome overwhelm. That part of it is your safety was, I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to avoid the feeling. Okay. So now she's healing and at all those layers. Now she gets there and she goes, but I don't want to get rid of it because, oh my God. And the thing is that you got rid of it in your ego way by avoiding it. And if you actually have to stop avoiding it, that means you have to address it. And you're like, but I don't wanna. Okay. But again, there's a part of you that feels like you were inefficient. You're like, but I couldn't the first time. What makes you think I can do it now? Can you feel the argument? Okay. So now it says that you don't really want to feel the original feeling of feeling worthless. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And the thing is that I'm an ask Spirit, are you okay to address worthless? Are you okay to feel it? And they go, not to feel it, but at least to address it. So that's a big step for her soul. So before we can go any further, then you have to make sure you do L3S and how you feel inefficient. I need to avoid the overwhelm and the feeling of worthless. Can you do that? Can you hold L3S, left position?
So it's the same as the one that I just did, but it's just putting my thumb further down.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. And holding it soft.
Yep. So does that explain it why I don't like to go to shopping centres? Like I feel
Yep.
I don't my what's the word? Complacentment in avoiding doing stuff and just existing. Does that explain? That's all the symptoms of that issue?
Yeah, that's part of it. There could be more, but this is a huge one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so go do that, and if you still got time. All right, I'm going to mute you, hon. Thank you.
I'm doing it.
Okay, good. Okay, so James paid it forward, and we're ready for. Do we need to collect more names?
I've only got 4.
Oh, that's funny. That's fine. Let's just take whatever's there, and we'll go from there.
Okay, Melinda asked what tool for fear of greatness.
Oh, that's a good one. Because that's what you're doing, the fear of greatness. Well, this is a complicated one because a lot of times we'll take that mirror and turn it towards ourselves. When we turn it towards ourselves, we can actually see, this is the thing. When you're moving energy, it's what you've told yourself. It's what you convinced yourself. So when you look at the tool, you would need to understand why you feel like there's the lack, or that, because when you say, okay, Amy, you're going to go on right now and you're going to talk like I do. Go. No, I'm not ready. I mean, you should see her face. She thought I was going to push the button. Okay. But the thing is that we feel like we're not ready. So why do we feel like we're not ready? And a lot of times it's because we don't know what it's like. So the unknown becomes more fearful. And instead of practicing, instead of getting involved with what our true identity is and that beautiful nature of what it is I love to do in the authentic self, not your ego self, because once you begin to do this, it becomes a natural process of stepping into your greatness. Okay. But I'm not ready usually be the thing. And it's because there's a feeling of the lack of control. When you feel you have the lack of control, because you don't know yourself or those programs running, who said that? Melinda did?
Yeah.
R2D, Melinda. R2D. Okay. Now, if my husband's around, I could use some hot water from my coffee cup. Maybe Thing can reach through the door and give me some hot water, or. Okay, so again.
Name.
Huh?
I got the name, and it's Dawn.
Dawn Hawkins?
Mm-hmm.
Miss Hawkins. You can either come on, we can put baby in the corner, because like we did with Michelle and Amy, nobody has to see you. If you'd like to come on, we can just hear the voice and give you what's in, because there's such a time delay. Okay, let's see. All right, where are we at? Okay. My head spun all of a sudden. Amy's quit it. Is this Amy's? Yes. She wants attention.
Right now.
Yeah, but you want attention. You want me to love you like I love Michelle and everybody else with my little cute talk. Oh, Amester, you're like, but my love's on receipt. She's not looking at what I'm doing. I'm adorable. I wish if I did.
How old am I?
Well, right now, I just wish I could put you on the screen, but you don't want me to. But no, honey, you're probably about a year old.
God. Yeah.
Her energy speaking. Okay, Amy's a grown ass woman sitting in a chair and she doesn't even know she's freaking doing it. Her energy is coming over going, ah! I know that squeal. Like, shut up, woman. I mean, oftentimes I try to tell in the beginning when we first started, this is what I hear, this is what I see, but I didn't want her to take offense too much. It's like, okay, gradually, little by little, I'll tell her.
And now you just built it out, and that's fine.
And I just belt it out. And there's no shame in it. She knows what's happening. She's like, oh, God. And you're starting to recognize, and you're like, see, you didn't even know you're doing it right now.
Yeah, no clue.
And I have to look at her and go, don't you dare. You know, I have to tell, not her, but her energy field coming at me. You. Oftentimes you'll hear me yell, no, you know, or because I'm saying to that energy, this is my space, get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, Michelle's happy little larky face. Let me see. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready, and then hit unmute, and then, okay, good. Let me, what's this? Okay, talk to me, Michelle.
Hello, pretty. I'm making myself like dizzy looking at myself here for a minute. Can you see me?
I know, because the camera's like, whoa. Okay, so talk to me.
You've moved to the little screen, and I can see myself on a big screen now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, no, yes, I found that I got to 0, so that's all good.
Okay, let me look. What was the thought processing on that?
Yeah, because it's interesting. You're so right about me not wanting to feel it, but that's okay as long as I acknowledge that word overwhelm. And that's what I was doing. So I believe I got to a 0.
You did. Now I'm asking your soul, is she ready to deal with worthless? Yes, because your adult self can now go back to your little self and say it's not what you think it means.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now your job is to begin to notice the habit field.
Mm-hmm.
And the habit field is, do I really need to go back and believe this overwhelm? Your brain, ego's gonna go, yes, and you're like, no. Go find something to distract yourself besides a coping tool. Find something else that's healthy. You know, like sometimes people will take a rubber band, they'll put it on their wrist and do the reward and punishment, because as soon as you recognize that you're doing it, and the very act of recognizing it changes the outcome, because you are now going to be able to see it more with your spiritual mindset and go, but I don't have to, I no. Okay, you can learn to say no and take your power back. Literally take your power back. You can see the color it goes up. And the habit, you'll get the recovery time from the habit will be like, instead of 2 or 3 hours later, you're like, oh, I caught myself. As long as you do it, then you can actually get it to the point when you start it, you can begin to go, I don't have to do that. Or you can eventually just not have to do that. And the habit starts to take out. The rubber band is that, oh my God, I did that. Snap. I love myself that I caught myself. You were such a good girl. Because we have that old paradigm, the pain is that, oh my God, I'm doing this habit. It's like shock therapy. You don't want to do the habit again. So you train yourself to, I don't want to think that. There's my thought. But I'm very proud of myself. Remember to kiss yourself, because it's important. You know, it depends on how you want to do it, but you're catching yourself, and the recovery time is what it's going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. But if you're choosing to say, fuck it, and go back to habit, it can grow. But you took it to 0. You took it to 0. And the reason you took it to 0 is that you're going to be able to catch yourself now. Because if people only don't take it to 0 and they take it to 1 or a 2, they let it build up, it'd be like, oh, I healed that, but it didn't work. No, you didn't take it to 0. But if you've taken it to 0 and you see it again, but it'll show up differently, and you're aware of that, you're learning how to grow out of it.
Okay.
So I'm proud of you.
And isn't there a saying about how long it takes to break a habit and how long it takes? Isn't it something like 3 days? Yeah, 21 days
for a new habit to come in.
For a new habit and 3 days to break it, a habit. Isn't that?
Oh, I'm not sure about that one, but it might be. But the point is that without a tool, just imagine how quicker it is with a tool.
No, using tools and say for 3 days to be really witnessing and acknowledging all the thoughts and all the little that go with attached to the habit. I don't know what I'm even saying, but
well, the point is you are correct. There is a standard, but the degree to which you are attached, the more attached you are, they may not apply. The less attached you are, it'll be quicker. But if you're diligent and you are using a tool at every turn, like, oh my God, I just want a freaking cookie or give me a cigarette, blah, you disrupting the strategy pattern. And you disrupt it. What happens is you're going to get there faster and quicker and easier. So it depends on your growth standard, how much you remember to apply the tool. Remember, there is a tool.
I'll be looking.
What's that?
I'll be looking. Do you find the tapping is the best one?
I like them all, depends, because here's the thing. Sensory eye accessing, most people don't realize that there's a picture. And the picture is what your brain sees and repeats. And but it's all about the disruption, the frequencies of the energies are putting out. And if you can disrupt it regardless of which tool you use, you are going to stop yourself from going there in that stress mode or repatterning yourself to stay there. And
you know what's funny?
What?
Is when I was doing the L1 healing, I was doing circles with my eyes, and I noticed even though I wasn't covering one of my eyes, I was naturally doing that with my eyes, and I noticed that the numbers were different in certain areas, so I was working with that.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, Michelle. You're learning to put more than one tool together.
It's so powerful. It really is. It really works. It's so good to use my sensory, to use my eyes around. Yeah, exactly. So it's just a matter of, what do you call it? Just repeating those healing tools or constantly. I find for me, I'm going to have to just work on it and keep working on it, and I'm going to see results, because it's something that has affected my it's about my self-esteem there, that I'm very much aware that I'm lacking, and that's one of the reasons. So I've got to work on that, the overwhelm.
And you will, and you're going to develop all your abilities. Remember, just understand, if you don't measure it, you'll never know if it's really changed. But by measuring it, you're giving yourself that ability to say, like when people say, oh, it's still there. And then it's like, well, come on, let's get down to zero. And when you start to admit to yourself that you want to keep it, there is always a reason that it's serving. Then you would heal on another level.
That's right.
When you measure it and you realize that it's gone, like when you said, well, it kind of like disappeared, where'd it go? It's like, do you want it back? And most people are like, no, I freaking don't want it back. Good. And again, more acknowledgement of those little things will make you go, hey, wait a minute. I don't like this hell I'm in. What did I do last time? And that's what it boils down to, is your subconscious mind says we have to go back to when we first took care of it and we coped, handled, and deal. And usually it'll be when you're a little self. Your little self did the best it could. And it may be a shitty job as you get older, but you need to go back and take that out and put in the new one that works. And that's why it's important to always go back and you take the action needed to help all parts of yourself. Thank you for playing with me, Michelle. I appreciate it.
Taking my power back.
Yes, no more losing power. Bye, honey. Thank you. Bye. That is so important. That is very important. Okay, so I'm just going to double check and see how everybody's doing in the room. Dawn, that's fine. If you don't know how, that's fine. And so one of the things that, Dawn, that you have to do is that you can just communicate, tell me what you want, and we can do it this way. And, or we can guide you to get you in here. I mean, you just need the app and you join it, the room, and then you just put in the number. The app, because if I'm on a big computer, I have to go to this. But if you're on the phone, then you just go get an app. But if you look at Amy and she texts you the link, you just push on the link and then it takes you without having to type anything in. Because I noticed that some people said when I typed it in, I needed a password. But if you have the link, you won't have to go through all that other stuff. Okay. We can wait another minute or two, whatever she feels comfortable with. We're not pushing her into anything.
Right. I sent her the link just in case.
Okay. So it's important to understand your thinking. Now, again, Michelle played with me very well. I like the play. This isn't work. This is about play. And so she was able to, hopefully you got to hear the difference, see the difference to some degree.
Oh, I could see the difference. I talked to her earlier this morning too. I could really see the difference.
Excellent, excellent. How did you notice the difference? Help people. Now I'm going to make you big. Is that okay?
Okay.
How did you notice for you to stand back? Now we're not judging. She's standing back observing the difference of, oh, it's like when somebody got mud on their face and then they got it clean, you can see the difference. But how do you know on another level? How did you know?
Her eyes were brighter. She had more of a glow to her.
Ooh, yes, that's one of the things usually I see too. Yes, they come back to who they really are. They're like, oh, there's more joy, there's more love, the frequency's higher, and they're not tied and weighed down with all the other extra pain. Those thoughts, those excuses, and those reasonings like to kick us in the butt. But right. We can take charge of it. So it was great that she was able to hear her thoughts and understand that, hey, don't I really want to let this go? I mean, it's kind of freaky when you think about it. You're like, oh, come on. Yes, I do. But and then again, the tool is what will take you to the edge to let it go. Okay. Yeah. Because without the tool, it'll just, you just go around in circles with excuses and reasonings. So Amy, you'll have to do R1D because you have cloudy thinking going on. What you talking about, woman? Okay, anyways.
R1 or R3?
Huh?
R3D or R1D?
R1 now. You're going R1D.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to double check with Dawn and see where she's at. Okay. Amy, is there any 1 minute reads until we find out?
Yeah, Patty.
All right, Miss Patty. Okay. Love unreceived. You're about 3 years old and love is unreceived, and your left brain became very argumentative about how much that love unreceived was forming your personality. And how you learn to grow with this is that maybe if I do this, maybe if I do that, but recognize how love is unreceived and what was born out of when love is unreceived. What kind of personality did you end up creating is what you have to come to. And in order, if you have love unreceived, then there's a party that's looking for a certain amount of acceptance, a certain amount of acknowledgement. And it's important to begin to note this. They said that when that happened, you diminished your moral character, and because you don't want your heart crushed. So do take those notes. Remember to timestamp that, Aim. And who's next?
Amanda Gibbs.
Amanda Gibbs. There's an abnormal, like an abnormal or inappropriate lapping. Well, in this case, there is a, what do you guys call it? Weakness. So there's something that's cause you to feel weak. And this is something that you have stored in the way you function, your heart. So you're like, how do I put it? It's based on, according to this, compatibility, and you will go into judging yourself to the point that you have remorse. Really? What does this mean? You change your energy. So you change yourself for others? No, you change. What do you do? Toward yourself, yes. You have a certain amount of anxiety. Ooh, I don't like that feeling. That certain amount of anxiety creates you to go weak. There we go. Then, which causes you to correct yourself. And then you have remorse because you didn't want to do the very thing that you didn't want to do, but you correct yourself and did it. And you're like, no. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, next.
Beth Kelly.
Beth?
Beth.
Beth Kelly. There's something you can't cope. And the feeling of love is that there seems to be a bitterness to it. An anger, a disappointment, a bitterness to it. And it changes the energy on the outside. And so therefore you have a panic when you want to reach for love. And it's just reaching or giving? Reaching. So then you'll expand yourself out to go get the love, but then you feel like you're bullying people to give you love. Or that's the way maybe people see it, but you're addicted to this behavior. But at the same time, there's an invalidation that comes back. This is what you know. That's how you become addicted. So that's part of his strong identity that really needs to be healed out. Again, go to my room, medicinewomansolution.weebly.com. There's a ton of tools. Apply anything and all of them if you have to. But get out of those. All right, who's next?
Rennie, Reenie.
Rennie, okay. There is Rennie. Okay, there's a muddledness, and it has to do with worth. Something that's worth, much and worthless. So there's placing of the values. And I feel like you're trying to place value, but at the same time, how you're defining it and placing value is being influenced by somebody that's kind of bullying you to take on their, this is the way I accept reality. You should too. And you're like, but that's your reality. I don't know if you're woke up to that yet to say that is your reality. But there's a part of you that feels like you need to do self-preservation because of this pushy energy. And so you've been expanding your energy, and which then feels like it's overbearing. You're like, but I don't want to be overbearing. I don't want to be erratic. I don't want to have to behave this way in order to get results. And so you're fighting within yourself. Take that feeling and tap it out. Okay. Amanda said that I have a lot of anxiety and it's getting better. Okay, so she recognizes that. Good, she understood what I meant. Michelle says, very good. I have strength and feel self-assured and I'm moving forward now. Here's onward and upwards. Woohoo. The screen is so tiny. Melinda says, I just realized that I don't do the work because, come on, click. Oh, it's frozen. And I just lost my screen. Okay, it doesn't work because I have a secret belief that I should just be able to think into being or snap my fingers, etc. What's up with that? I need to know. I no need to respond. I might have to have a one-on-one. Yeah. Yes, because there's a part of us that have been told many, many times, just thinking into being. But at the same time, you're not lacking in the faith in that belief. You're just lacking in the muscle to make that so. So therefore, you haven't practiced enough to be able to do that. Michelle says, got to feel it, heal it. Yes. Or if you can't feel it, focus in an issue and apply the healing tool and measure it. Exactly. Dawn says, can you earn me the link? Okay, can you send her the link one more time? Ames?
It doesn't even look like she's seen the first one. I sent it in Messenger, Dawn.
Okay, look at Messenger, hon. Okay.
Because we aren't friends, so you have to go into the
guest. There's a guest area.
Yeah.
You just have to look at the top. It'll say other people have sent you information. And you can't really send it through this link for some stupid reason.
No, it won't work going through Facebook or going through the live.
All right, so who else?
Okay, what is my R1D at?
You're at a 3.
Okay. TP.
TP. Ooh, your mama says you're doing something right. I can feel this. Mama says you're getting there. You're getting there. You had an epiphany. I don't know if you had it in your sleep or if you had it, but there was a part of you. Ooh, there's Dawn. Said there's an epiphany, and so that's a good thing. And it has to do with, but just notice the creative insecurity. That's what's stopping you from going to that next step. And she says that you feel that the importance of self, and then like if I'm afraid if I put my importance of self, somebody is going to step on me. And they said, Mama says R2D, deprived. You're used to pulling yourself and being deprived. That is the pattern. Heal that out, and then go to L1D and heal out frightfully overjoyed. Yeah, so basically that's what you're going to focus on. And she says, you can do it. I believe in you. She goes, I didn't desert you. We are here together. She says, I fucked up in the past. She says, but I got it now. So that's what we're doing. So now, Dawn, is your microphone working?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Dawn. Okay, so let me get the timer up, and we're going to thank James Devereaux for that.
Thank you very much.
And now, Dawn, how can I help you, dear?
Yes, ma'am. I really I lost my mother, and then I lost my best friend, and then I lost a good friend of mine, like on January the 21st, and I'm really lost. I feel.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So part of your identity was them. And when they died, a part of your identity felt like it died with them. And that's okay, because that's what happened. But there's also this, okay, so I feel like you're grieving, but you're not grieving like you did when it first happened. So that means time's marched on, which is a good thing. But you're like, but where do I go from here? They said that, the part of you are trying to consciously, what's the right thing to do? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, because I don't make a wrong decision right now, because inherited my mother's house, and it's just everything. I feel like I'm drowning.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So they said it's the right decision. That's what's messing, which is right and wrong. So that in itself is causing you to feel lost. And you said a girlfriend died, because I feel like it's not Mama. It feels like that other one. There's somebody else that you said.
No, it was my best friend. My
best friend. There it is. Okay. Your best friend, it says that the reason that you can't make the decision is you got this fear of judgment. Somebody is going to judge you based on, what you're going to do. And then Mama pops in, and she said you were 1 year old and you saw people judging me. So there was something, so do you understand that? So she says that, okay, so when I say that, did you ever see people judging her?
Yes, my mom had a brain aneurysm, and just things went, but and then she was killed by a train. So, I mean, her life was really kind of.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. But there was a fear of judgment. Like, oh yeah, that, did they judge her because she got hit by the train, or did she?
Well, she was killed by the train, but no, they judged her because of the aneurysm, so to speak. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, I got it. Okay. She says because it's the fear of judgment. You got to witness how she was treated like that when you were younger. And that freaked you out because you not only got to witness it, but you actually felt the fear of judgment as if it was to you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is what's coming up is that, and your girlfriend says, that's what I've always seen. Now, was your friend able to see things you couldn't see about yourself, but she could see them?
She was very spiritual.
'Cause she said she watched you get very discouraged when you were going to do something. And she's
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
oh, she just wanted you to be happy and strong.
Yeah.
All right. She says, now all three. I hear three voices. One, please, one at a time. It is, she's really good at becoming an it. She doesn't want people to see her. And so you shut it off and you don't want to be seen. So you become an it. You become the object so that people won't throw their judgment at you. Because again, you watched it. It hurt. And so you live in discouragement. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am. So I stay at home. I don't go anywhere. I mean, I just, yeah, I can see what you're saying.
So when you think about this, I don't know what to do. Is that a big phrase for you?
Yeah.
On a
Yes,
scale
ma'am.
from 0 to 10, 10 being, oh yeah. Is it a 10?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, because I don't know what.
Would you like to want me to help you feel that?
I would love to hear that.
Okay, so that means that when the timer rings, you can stay on. I'll have to mute you, and then you'll have to let me know by typing in that you're done. But I want you to hold. Can you see me okay, sweetheart?
Yes, ma'am.
Left hand, and you're going to find that first position. That's where your thumb is going to go, right there. Okay? And then you're going to put your finger in the palm, and then you're going to wrap those three around. And then you're going to push your thumb in deep in that point. Don't kill it, but you can put your thumb there. And then you're going to put your hand up like this, okay? All right, and you're going to do this. You're going to think about, oh my God, I can't figure this out. And everything we just talked about, and let all that feeling, and you're going to process it out. All you have to do is hold this and feel and think, okay? And
Yes,
I'm going, do you understand how to do it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to mute you. I'm going to put this on pause, and I'm going to mute you while you're healing. And you're going to text when you're done, when you feel like it's 0, or if you feel stuck, then you're going to say, I feel stuck. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to put you on hold. You heal away. You do it right now. And then I'll check back in with you. You let me know. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Awesome. So this is a new way Spirit wants to do things. I'm okay with that. All right. Aimster, who's next?
Stephanie, and she says, my question is, my brain seems to be out of place, almost as if I feel it vibrating in my skull, to the point it makes the back of my eyes feel like they are twisting. Is this an ascension symptom or something much deeper? Stephanie.
Okay. Do you know what's funny, Steph, is that Stephanie, right? Is that her name?
Yes.
I feel like, okay, what's weird is if you listen to how she said it, she says it feels like everything's vibrating. She can feel it behind her mind, her eyes, and it's like twisting. Now, I just have one question, and I'm hoping you're still in the room. Do the timestamp, just in case you're not. Does it feel like somebody's ringing it? Was there pressure like that, or just does it feel like it's vibrating? I'm just very curious about this because, you know, a lot of people say, well, these all have to do with ascension. And in this case, there is just a wee bit of understanding that ascension, yes, but what it really is that you're going against a part of who you are. And this means a light code has come on. And it is, you were always compelled to do things correct. It's like all of a sudden somebody will say, you know, these dishes need to be done. Blah, 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 blah. And you've heard it, and all of a sudden you get up and you're my head just spun automatically, and you start doing something. This is what's called the compelled to correct. And it's an automatic response. But there's also part of you that feels like you're kind of going against that order. And the vibration in the head, And if I asked which meridians are causing it, and they said, well, the gallbladder meridian and the stomach meridian, and those energies is off. And if I said, well, is there a story that goes with it? They said, yes, I feel wiped out and I feel disgusted. This is what the energy is towards you. Oh, so that I feel that energy controls the situation, if that makes any sense. So one of the things you can do is just take and under the pinky, rub this point here and here, okay? Rub them 30 times. Get in there and rub it 30 times to help correct this.
Back of the head and kind of dizzy.
Oh, she responded?
Yeah.
Kind of dizzy. Okay, so try the heart thing for a moment and see what happens, okay? All right, so try this one and see what happens. Oh, she said there's a sting in the stomach and the gallbladder as well. Okay, that gives us confirmation. But try this and let's see what happens. Good 30 times on both sides, and then tell me if anything disappears. Now I'm going to check the, see if anybody's paid, because somebody else wants to come in the room now. And
has paid for 3, and Allison is one of them.
yes, and she's up next. So I'm going to bring Allison in right now.
Okay.
As we bring in Allison, try this and let's see what happens. Good 30 times on both sides. And then okay, so Allison, you'll have to turn me down in the background because I can hear myself in at your house. Even though I have a lovely voice. So I'm going to come, no, stay right there, Allison. Let me just check on with Dawn. Why isn't it coming on? Okay, Dawn, how are you doing, honey? Can you feel the 10? Is it coming down?
Somewhat. I'm so worried I'm going to make the wrong decision. Like you said, the judgment, and it's not no judgment from here because I don't owe anybody anything, but God. But I'm saying, like, I don't know how to explain it. I just don't want to make this wrong mistake and sell.
Right, and that's part, as long as you're holding that on, that's what you're supposed to think, because your heart's breaking. Okay,
right.
there's a certain amount of apathy at the same time. So again, holding that point, and you are pointing it to your forehead, right?
Right. That's what I was just asking to make sure I was doing it right.
You were doing it right. Okay, now you keep doing it, and I'll check back in with you. Okay, darling? Because those thoughts are going to change. That's how we know it's healing. Okay, so I'll be back in a moment.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, where'd she go? Allison's things didn't work, did it? Huh?
I don't know where she went.
Maybe it hung up. All right, we'll wait another moment because Allison was here.
My R1D, is it down to 0? I think I shifted that far.
Hold on. Ooh, it's a 1. It's connected to spiritually feeling deprived. It's like, yeah, just think spiritually being deprived. We'll go from there. Allison, sweetie, we had you. You're gone. Wait, here she comes. Let's see if we got it again. And where'd it go? All right. Hey, okay, there it is. Soon Allison will be coming in and hopefully the mic will work.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, we got you, honey. We got you.
Oh yeah, sorry I wasn't muted before. Something happened.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, so now tell me, how can I help you, dear?
Well, my question is that I've been feeling kind of like anxious lately, and I'm just wondering why. Is there like a spiritual reason behind it?
Okay, so when I define spiritual reason, it is the shit we have to revolve from. And there isn't really about a goober or any of those negative entities. And is there a light code that's come on that you're changing? Yes, you're vibrating and changing differently, but this anxiety and stuff is already there. So I'm going to go back. Anything you feel now will always be in the root. So as I'm looking, your 6-year-old self says that it had to take action and make itself irrelevant in conversations. Okay. And I said, okay. And then they said, because when people would exert their power, that would just freak me out. So, yep, then it goes into awkward, then goes into panic. Now, when I'm looking at what's happening for you right now, there's a part of you that says, I'm going to be scorned at any minute. Somebody's going to scorn me. Somebody's going to say something. Do you feel that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So regardless if it is or isn't, your little self, oh, my whole body just, woof, your little self is saying, see, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And your energies are pulled so tight in that it feels like your head is, well, not just your head. Where is it at? It's really weird. Where do you feel it?
Kind of like in my heart or just in my gut, like it's like a physical feeling.
Okay, now can you also feel the one that's really weird? Because if you could feel it, it's like it's in the hands, it's on the face, it's like right here. It's like you had to put on hands and gloves, a mask and a glove. It's a weird sensation I've never had before.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, my hands feel really weird, but also so my face. And it's like and it feels like, let me just ask Spirit, are you talking you've been hiding to some degree. Oh, wow, my stomach. Ooh, because it's being contracted. Well, if we want to heal this out, no. Why don't you want to heal it out? Because I have to face the awkwardness and worry, and I don't want to do that. Okay, you're really, okay, so that 6-year-old is really upset right now. How can we help the 6-year-old? And it's like, I have to feel small. I have to feel small. So you're deliberately hiding. So you can feel all of these weird feelings, yes? Allison?
Oh, yeah, I can.
All right. Now, would you like to address this and heal this?
Sure.
What about feeling small?
Yeah, I relate to that.
Okay, so let's see. Because your little self, I'm willing to do that. And that's like, okay. So I want you to take in kind of this feeling that's happening, put it on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being, yeah, yuck. And then hold L3D. So left wrist, third position. And see how I got my 3 fingers? It's this last one where you're going to put your thumb way down here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to push in deep, and you're going to put your pointer finger here and these around. And you're going to do this, okay? And you're going to just feel. Just breathe and feel, and whatever your soul wants you to heal out, you'll feel it. It'd be a big fat 10, and just stay there. You just stay there.
Okay.
Okay, now she's going to hang in there too. So that means I'm just going to, if you have questions, you can, do you know how to talk in the chat room?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you, and you feel like, can you feel it? Can you number it? Can you put it as a 10, 9, 8, whatever number it is? What do you think it is?
You mean the anxiety?
Yes, yes.
Probably a 10.
Okay, so focus on that anxiety, and you stay there, and keep your hand on your head, do it like I said, and then I'm going to mute you, and I'll come back to you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so now what we're going to do is Aimster. Do we have any more 1 minutes while we're waiting?
Yes. But hang on just a second.
Okay. Got no handles, but oh wait, hold my love handles. Waiting. Yeah, I'm still waiting for that warm cup of coffee. I don't think he's out there, huh?
I texted him.
Yeah, I hear him in the kitchen. That means he's not anywhere. He doesn't carry his phone. I'm the only one who has a phone. He has a phone. He just doesn't use it. And he's away from the computer. So who's my 1 minute?
Miss Angie Allen.
All right. So here we go. There's an indifference going on. You have a vivid recall of something about being unworthy. And they said that, granted, it is, oh my God, I just went blind. Stop the timer. I can't see. That's a sign of something. It's 111 here. I'm supposed to notice 111s. 11s. Wow, I got 111, 111, 111, 111. Okay, yeah, way too many. Oh, there's a 111 there. Holy crap, we got a lot of ones. A lot of ones. Woo, there we go. Addicted to. What are you talking about? We have to go to where? The same shit, different story, same shit. It's same day shit. It's dogma. So there's a dogma going on, Angela, a dogma. And what happens with this, you're actually doing a repulse reaction. Yes. She needed to remove this. Miss Angela, so you're going to have to probably rewind this, but you're going to take a piece of paper, and on this, you're going to put the word emotional, or which one? Emotional factor, nutritional. And then you're going to take the emotion, write down the emotion of inferior. Then you're going to take the inferior, and then you're going to put this piece of paper right here, and then you're going to do the 4 breaths with a tapping. You're going to start here, go to the back of the neck. So you're going to go tap. Consistently, this is the tap. You understand? That's the tap. You're going to take a breath in, hold, but you're going to start. Ready? As you breathe in, you tap. Hold. Do 2 rounds. Breathe out and hold. Remember, 2 rounds, and then pant. And then you're going to breathe normal. In and out. Now, sometimes I do 3 or 4 rounds. Now, you're going to do 2 sets of those, maybe 3. All 4 types of breaths with the tapping. If you fuck it up, start again. You'll be fine. Keep the piece of paper there. And then in the next couple hours, do it again. Or if you start to feel inferior or you're watching the superior energy coming, tap again. Because that energy of whether it's a person, place, or thing, or food, affects the way you nutritionally absorb your nutrition. Okay? So you're going to help yourself on a deeper level. Okay, so I'm going to check in with Dawn real quick. And we'll see. Dawn, how are you doing, honey?
I'm feeling a lot better. I really just let it all out. Just everything.
All right. The number, you're at a 1. We want it gone. So you're going to take your thumb, or you're going to hold the right wrist. You're going to finish it off by holding the right wrist. You got to find that 3rd position. See how my fingers are? 1, 2, 3. You're going to put your thumb down here, position in deep, same position. And then you're going to hold, and then what they said that they want you to address is petrified. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, you remember, put that on a scale from 0 to 10. And what number do you feel it is?
8.
Good. Now, I'm going to mute you. You go heal that, and I'll check in with you. Now, Allison. Nothing.
Hi.
How are you doing, honey?
I'm doing better.
Now, you are going to switch, and you're going to hold the right wrist. Now, look here. See the 2nd position? That one right there?
Yeah.
Put your thumb in there nice and deep. Do this. And you're going to take the rest of what you're feeling, okay? And notice how you distrust, how something, you can't trust something. You understand? And that same feeling, and then put that on a scale from 0 to 10.
I guess like an 8.
Good. All right. You go heal that, and I'll be back.
Okay.
Now, let's see what's my screen doing over here? All righty. You're welcome, Angela. And Angela, where's my package? It looks like it went all the way back to where you sent it. It's the most weirdest thing. So I'm not sure really how to check on that, just to let you know. Now, who else did? Okay, Allison, I was chosen. And
Okay.
who else is?
Hildebrand.
Huh?
Lisa Hildebrand.
Yeah.
And Kari Gillespie.
Okay, so Lisa's here, Find out why Amanda, now she's either paid for it already or paid. I don't know what that is about. So find out. Let's bring in Lisa. Okay, hopefully we'll get it at any moment now. Aha, sort of. Yeah, hi, Lisa, hi.
Hi.
Hi, honey, how are you?
Good. I didn't know that you guys were gonna see me.
Oh, no one sees you. It's just me and you and a small screen. So no one's seeing you, babe.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm just loving what I'm doing. I've missed you a lot, but I respect the fact that you've had to do your journey. So what's going on and how can I help you?
Well, Peely surprised me with a reading.
Oh, isn't she a sweetheart?
I know. Yes. So I don't know. What can you tell me?
All right.
So
and
you.
yes. So here's the thing I'm seeing. There's some jealousy energy that's hanging around you. Now I'm going to ask, is this yours? No. Has somebody been possessing? Well, I don't like the word possessing. Has somebody felt like they got to have all your time? I feel like there's jealousy energy around you.
No, not that I know of. Not right now.
Okay.
You know, I've just been home with my husband and my friend.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure what that is, but then there's a worry within that jealousy. And then what is this about? Hold on. What do you mean excess? Who? The person? Oh. Do you sure we want to go there? Has anybody been pouting recently?
Pouting?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay.
We'll have to think about it.
Okay. So what I'm seeing, you're not going to be able to connect with. So I'm going to ask, what can we help her do that so she can connect with? And they said, dang. Okay. Somebody is convincing you that they're the good guy and I'm not the enemy. So have you had anybody, see, we're not going to connect there either. Wow. So we're going to take a different route because I don't think you're going to be able to hear that. So let's do a different route. So really? Not going there either. Let's go another direction. Yes. Okay. So what we're going to help you do, what about future? And if we were to look at this, there's a lot of sentimental feelings that's been giving you warm and fuzzies. Can you feel that?
Sentimental? Yeah, I cleared a lot of stuff already, but I'm in the process of looking for a house in a different state.
Okay. So interestingly enough, it says that you're doing this sentimental feelings with that has a lot of those fuzzies, but there is still some grief work. So you're in that transitional state. So they're kind of like confirming that you are doing that. And they said learning to be more true to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship dynamics. What does that mean? Oops. You're standing out, learning how to be more reliant on your identity than other people's, which is good. Yes. And I'm going to ask, what about moving? Because you said moving out of state. They said you're in this between unfolding of the spiritual growth. So don't try to force something. It's coming.
Yeah.
Don't force it. So they're saying there's the spiritual growth that's still recalibrating and it's still growing. And have you been wavering the faith, like what you should put your faith into? Some things you thought you had your faith into, you're like, maybe I should not put my heart fully into that. Does that make sense?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know how to answer that.
No, that's fine. A lot of times people will put their faith in fear. Okay.
Okay.
And so when you're starting to grow out of that, okay, so let's say you have a faith that was the right decision to make. Then there's a part of you that's starting to realize, well, maybe I shouldn't have to do because, oh, there we go. Have you been doing right and wrong? This is the right and this is wrong. Have you been doing right and wrong?
I'm not sure.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But
Yeah, a lot of your energy right now is
I've been learning a lot. I've been yeah.
no, that's fine. That's
Knowing
fine.
where to put my energy into instead of and letting go of the stuff that no longer serves me. I've been doing all that stuff and it's been working out great.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. All right, that's fine. I'm just looking at the roots, but you're doing great. Where? So there is, so have you been, okay, so you've been learning to change your personality, to change your personal reality, right?
Change the stuff I don't like about myself.
Have you banned anything? Like, oh, I can't do that because that's just wrong. I cut that out of my life.
No.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
So what about relationships? I'm not using that deck either. What about relationships? No?
What about them?
They're saying that there's a part of you that has been changing the way you've been communicating with people or relating to people in relationships. I feel an old pattern of you, but at the same time, you're what's emerging is this part that I'm just going to come out and say it. Just make sure that you are the one that's looking and for discernment within how and what kind of relationships serve you.
Okay.
Because if you're having an outside voice, then you're going to create a particular imbalance that's going to make you come back around and have to face it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there has been a couple things that you haven't been able to figure out how to change. But the little girl inside is actually becoming more happy and excited that it gets to choose. Just don't lose that power of your own choice. Okay.
Okay.
She wants to continue to choose. All right.
Okay.
And just keep growing. You are doing it.
Okay. And let's talk sometime. I miss you very much.
Yeah, I miss you too. All right. We'll talk to you later, honey. All right,
bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. So now, okay, tell me what I'm doing. Oh, sorry. Let's look at Dawn first. I got to get that unmuted. I gotta look in the text.
Hello.
All right. Hi, Dawn. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling better.
Good. Let me just double check. And they said, yeah, you're good enough to go. Now, the feeling that you had before you started, have you been able to shake that or haven't been able to shake that in a long time?
I ain't been able to shake that in a long time. Ever since my mom.
All right. So you feel like it's coming down now, that it's not really there to bother you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's good. And I just want you to be able to recognize the difference. I want you to witness your growth, that you have had the feeling that there is a difference. And just remember that when you feel crappy, that you can come out of that. You really can come out of that. So again, there's a lot of free healing tools that you can apply. And we would like you to keep aiming for your joy. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Right.
Okay. Now I'll go to Allison. Oh, hold on again. There we go. Oh, Allison, how are you, my dear?
I'm feeling a lot better.
Good, good. Yeah, I see that that's down to 0. I feel like you could function. With you, I'm going to have you just put your finger in your belly button in your forehead, push and lift up, and just kind of seal this in. All you have to do is just breathe and seal it in. And what's going to happen is we're going to help you just hold that pattern. So can you feel a difference before you called and then now? Can you feel a difference?
Yeah, I feel a big difference.
Okay, so the anxiety is not as strong, it's not controlling you, and your thoughts aren't going wild.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like below 5 now for sure.
Okay, so I actually feel like it's different. The only reason you can start feeling it is because it's tied to this lofty energy and then a particular habit that you have. Okay, so you're just going to become aware of, just ask spirit, say thank you for showing me what habit I need to address, and then spirit will then show you, make it stand out like a sore thumb. Oh yeah, and then I'm ready to address it. There's a lot of healing tools you can use to help disrupt that pattern. And I thank you for coming on, my dear.
Thanks so much for the reading.
Yep, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so is Amanda next? She's paid.
She has? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so did we do what Pilly, all of what Pilly paid?
No, we still need Carrie.
Okay, so all right, I'll bring her in. So Carrie, so let me see here. So we had Alice, Lisa.
Allison, Lucy, and Carrie are the ones that Pilly picked.
Gotcha. All right, now Amanda, can you hear me, hon?
Yes.
Okay, how can I help you, dear?
Well, you intrigued me on my 1 minute read on the weakness and the heart area. I've had Reiki and all that stuff done, and I'm always told that my heart chakra is blocked. I do carry my anxiety there. That's gotten a lot better since I've been working with you, but I think the weakness is like, I don't think I can actually heal myself. I have all these tools. I use your tools, and I'm just like.
Okay, that's fine. So what we're going to do is I have to look up the word apathy. It's a lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. So somehow that plays into what we're looking at. And let me get the screen bigger so there I can move it aside. Now, they're saying that for you, yes, the reason they say the heart chakra is closed is because that's actually an arrested development. You can try all you want with different healing tools. You could, with one of the chakras, you could go forward and backward to move the energy, but you still have to face why the development became arrested, why you can't move beyond a certain part. And what I'm looking at is over time with the loathing. So do you like yourself or hate yourself?
I like to think that I like myself, but deep down, I pick myself and I do judge myself on like an extreme level.
Okay, now no matter what age you are now, but in the past, did you really self-loathe?
I would say yes. I was always searching for love outside of me.
Good. The arrested development happened when you were 2 years old. Okay, you got this? And they said that there was the development couldn't go past the resonating energy that you picked up that became you. So you understand. Resonation is this resonating energy, like when you take and put, all the females have their periods at the same time. So everybody's vibrating and matching up and they're doing that at the same time. So here you are, you're doing your thing, and this energy over here was doing this, and all of a sudden you start to match and doing the exact same frequency, and now you become that. What did you become? You said, and this is going to sound weird, but I can't figure it out. Not me. This is your phrase. It's like the word hate, but it's, I can't figure it out. It's an actual phrase that you know and feel. So do you feel like oftentimes you can't figure it out?
Yes, I do lots of research, but when it comes down to who I'm supposed to be, who I'm meant to be, who I want to be, what my purpose is, I know it's I know it's there. I just don't no. So I'm like just searching, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, stop.
Okay. So over here is like, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. You're over here going, oh, I'm playing. I figured it out. I can't figure it out. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. You're like looking at your crayon and you're like, I can't figure it out. So your identity matched that up to what was in your space at that age. So I don't care how old you get, you're still going to have to go to your go-to of, I can't figure it out. But you're aware of it. That's what's good. Now, the insecurity that occurred from that person in that space is that they suppressed being vulnerable. I don't want to feel vulnerable. So if they're feeling vulnerable and they can't figure out how to make that stop, I think you were picking that up. They suppressed it, but you were still over here vibrating, I can't figure it out. But you didn't feel that suppression. So you then...
I unknowingly suppressed.
No, you didn't unknowingly suppress because you're still, I can't figure it out. Now, if anybody has any lofty energy, any superior energy, any energy that says, come on, Amanda, you then can't figure it out even more because this lofty energy is coming at you. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like being told, back in the old days, it was women didn't have a voice and they can write your curriculum. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to take this rights from you and this is the way you're going to do it. Now, there's a part of you that doesn't understand how to break free from that dominating type energy to tell you what to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now that you've got this, understand you've been trying to solve this, but the root is stuck. I can't figure it out. Okay, because you, like I said, I see you going around circles. You've got all the good tools. You've got, but all of a sudden you go, you vibrate into, I can't figure it out. Now, you do this because the safety concern, really, yours? When you were being born, coming out of that womb, it didn't feel safe. Okay, so because you carried that it didn't feel safe, that it took you until 2 years later that you felt that same, I don't feel safe. And you got the answer because the person also that was, I can't figure it out, didn't feel safe. The vulnerability didn't feel safe. You got to match that again. The time you were birthed to the time that 2, all of a sudden at 2, you felt it again. This was the answer to that vulnerability, to that feeling of unsafe. It is to, I can't figure it out, literally make you go there. So you see how it's a safety blanket to some degree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like even with my anxiety, like I don't want to heal because I've been living that way for so long that it's like, oh, I have no idea what I'll be without it.
Right.
So
good. So what you got to understand is that we have to go back to when you were 0 now, because you said it's anxiety. When you were born, you were anxiety. It was something that you kind of decided as a soul that you're going to feel, and as soon as you come into this matter, this reality.
Yeah.
And so this anxiety on a scale from 0 to 10, is it high? 10 being the worst. And you carry this most of the time?
Yes.
Could you play with me? And that means I'm going to give you a point and I'm going to mute you and you're going to go heal and then you're going to come back. Now, you've been trying to get rid of this anxiety for how long?
17 years.
Would you like
I think
to
it was off and on through my childhood, but it really hit me full blown at 22. So. Okay,
so at 22, you had lofty energy come at you, which made it worse. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to think lofty energy and all this panic and all of that. You're going to take your left wrist. You're going to put your thumb right there. Okay, push it in. Remember, so let's just make sure you're doing it. And then you're going to do this. Yep. And I'm going to mute you. Now you got it at 10 and you know what it feels, and you know what lofty energy is, and you know what age 22 it's worse. That's what you're going to focus on, and I'll be back. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Now who's next?
Carrie, I'm not sure where she is though.
Has Pilly found her? How are we doing?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more emails.
All right, let's look at these emails then, and then we'll see if you or Pilly can get a hold of her. That would be good. So who's next here?
Miss Vic.
Ah, Vicky. I saw something Vicky said. Does that matter? Oh, there's Carrie. She says, whatever I need to know, we'll do it right here. Okay, so we'll do that. So Carrie, as soon as I get done with Vicky, I will come back to you. This happened to me many times. It's almost as if you're supposed to pay attention, but sometimes inside it's like you really don't want to hear it. The next time it happens, it says, it's okay, please stop. I want to hear this and it should stop. Okay, so that's not related to that. Spirit says they want me to help her understand that it is the hysterical nature of energy that you have become based on somebody else's hysterical. So that became your identity at 2 years old. So you are now to address what hysterical is. Have you seen it before? Have you watched it? Your body knows how to get into it, but it also knows how to resolve this. That's what made you have the great job you had. But they said that you're ready to start to remove all of that fear, remove that, and your ego has kept it under control because it felt good that it knew how to resolve at the ego level. And now they said that you moved into that spiritual self, and you are starting to notice how it doesn't really work in your spiritual world. And they said that you're ready. And so you need to do L1D. Where they want you to bring your confidence back that you had before, but you're like, how can I have my confidence if it's hooked into ego and hooked on how to solve that? Because that's who I was good, but that is not you. The new you doesn't need that false self-assuredness. The new you needs to have the authentic confidence. So hold L1D. So now Carrie says we'll do it right here. So there's a confusion going on, and there's vulnerability. You feel there's a deprived. It's not that you are these things, but you're kind of absorbing and of these things in the space, because there is also this hysterical energy that goes on. And I keep hearing, like, I'm sitting here, it's like, oh, this area got my attention. This area has got my attention. Now look at, I'm changing color. This area's got my attention. That your skin or parts of you are starting to become and to show signs of these areas. And there's a what about me energy, and there's a part of you that all of a sudden, for some silly reason, you just want to act mean. Again, you are not just observing. These are like little pieces of you that you don't really want, but at the same time, you're vibrating to match. And you're like, oh, I'm going to be done with it. Okay. But there's a numb feeling. Oh, she says yes, but there's a numb feeling. It's really, if you were not to, where am I? You know? And they're saying that in a way, there's parts of you that feels attacked. You feel attacked. You can't explain it because you can't see it. Carrie says, oh my OMG, yes. And there's a haughtiness energy. Amy, look up haughtiness and tell me what that means. Now we're going to be dealing with the third chakra here because it really takes away on the confidence. And then emotionally repressed and causes a demoralization. I disconnect. So what you felt confidence and assured of actually causes you to disconnect. What's the definition of haughty?
Proud, vain, arrogant,
Okay. And
disdainful.
okay. Now, you also have picked, wow, you have also picked up wounded pride. You got like a ton. Who threw a shit ball at you? That's what it looks like. But you just happen to be in this. I mean, oh my God, it's like it's going to the mall and picking everybody up at once. That's what it feels like. But at the same time, this haughtiness has got the attention. It's like, I disapprove of you, Carrie. Mm-hmm. This one's got my attention. This one says, this is what I do to myself. This is what I've got the voice in my head. I got like my mama's in there. You need to kick her out because there's not only buddy in there, but you. But then there's this jealousy, anger. Jealousy, anger. Oh, okay. And now you're self-conscious of that. Wow, you really don't know who you are. And let me ask, are you hiding in the dark? Because usually people hide amongst all that so they don't get seen, but you didn't. Yes, I'm very empathic too. Well, now I know. I don't know why I didn't pick that up.
It's a clue.
Because it's a habitual what? Habitual sadness that you really don't want to see. Oh my God. So you're wearing all of these others without realizing it. Habitual sadness. I don't want to feel that. So if I feel all these other things, I'll feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. There's a heartache. And this heartache came when you were 6 years old. And you didn't know what to do with the heartache. So you started to match everybody in your space. Match up. Oh, yeah. And wow. This sadness felt like it was cutting you off to some degree. What about it? You expanded and contracted at the same time? What is she, a pulse? No. It's a habit. Every time she goes to contract, she immediately expands. And then as soon as she immediately expands, she contracts. Oh, you're stuck. You're literally stuck. You don't, okay, so how do you want her to get out? And being an empath, you know what it feels like to be an I, but then you also know how to be an it. So it's like I root for the underdog, but then I want to be an I because I want to have a future. But you're stuck at what road to take, because when you move into the I, you get defensive or other people get defensive. And then when you move into the it, you get defensive and other people get defensive. You literally are meeting up. So where do you want her to go? She is avoiding to ever act mean. So are you trying to break a chain within the family saying, I'm not going to be that? And these knots of not wanting to be and break the chains, that's fine. But what happens is that because of this, you can't be confident because you do not want this. I just heard eternal sadness. There's a part of you that feels hysterical. So we're going back to that. So who was it, hers at that time? No. All right, before I finish this up, understand. So I watched my mother be completely in shock to find out that her son had just gotten a car accident and that she had to come to the hospital. So here's my mother's energy. And then all of a sudden she had to figure out, oh, I got kids. I can't just take them all to the hospital. So then now her energy went down, and then she remembered her son's in the car accident. And then she like, I'm trying to solve this. I'm stressed. I'm trying to solve. And she kept these spurts of complete hysterical energy of, I don't know how to cope with this. It's like, I'm hoping you understand this. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you that's important, because you're all over the place. So your right brain is way over because it's identifying and self-loathing at the same time. Is it just because I'm talking about it? Yes. To bring her out, what do you want her to do? Left brain action. Do you want her to rub? Her right brain is over because her left brain is trying to figure out how to take action. So, oh, okay. Do we want to work on the brains? She says she understands. No. A triple warmer. Do you want a source point? A hope therapy point? She has to understand that the broadcast messages are not hers. And why is it she's taking them on? So you're asked to become aware when it is somebody else's. And the spiritual intelligence, the emotional intelligence, and the mental intelligence is ready to grow. You're ready to become more the growth in that. And in order to do that, you have to notice your auto response does this. You get to call your power back every time it goes out, and then you realize, wait a minute, and then you may want to go to medicinewomansolution.weebly.com and go and get the cord switching, so that you can take off that energy that is not yours and take back your power that is out there, and learn to decipher. And once you begin to decipher, oh wait, this is me. And then when you immediately start to go out, say, no, call your energy back. I'm just saying, you really need to do this if you really want to start getting things under control, because there's a part of you that also needs to understand as you begin to identify, oh yeah, that's something I would feel, but is that mine? So it's not that you're blaming others. You're coming to terms to find you, where you end and they begin. Okay, you can do this. And I'm going to click on Amanda. How are you doing? As soon as I get the volume, come on. Undo it. Not doing it. There. Yeah, we got it.
Oh, sorry.
How are you?
I'm a lot better. I felt it go down and then it shot back up again. So there was a little resistance and I just kept breathing into it.
Good. Yeah,
and
you're
telling
still
myself to just be vulnerable. It's okay.
Yeah, and you're 4 years old, and now you're going to switch to L3S. L3S left. That third position, which is down here.
Okay.
And you're going to put your thumb right there.
Okay.
And then put your finger here. There, nice and soft. And then you're going to do this. And then I want you to go back into that feeling. And notice where you're at. And then I'll be back with you. Okay. So how are we doing over here? Ames, where are we going? Who's next?
Miss Diana.
Our Diana?
Our Diana.
Miss Diana. Awesome. So let me get over here. Let me get to the right screen. La 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 la. All right. So there's a negative mindset that keeps popping in, and it has to do with where's love? Where's love? Where's love? And it's like there's a jealousy. Where's love? Where's love? Where's love? And then when it's challenged, there's a moral issue here. There's like a disgrace going on. And they said then what happens is also a disgust going on. And then you do self-imposed limitations. You're reliving 4 years old. This is remnants that how you did something toward yourself at that age. So there's all these events, you know what event I'm talking about. And then there's an event of how you turned toward yourself. You've contracted your energy and you cannot get it out of your head of what happened. And so it becomes your identity. So the left will go in the past and in the future, but it'll always unfold in the now. And it grabs you. It grabbed you so that you cannot really have self-efficacy. You can't stop looking at this, even though you want results, the self-efficacy to get that result. You didn't develop that because you're stuck here. Now, to get you to stop looking there, they want you to start with L3D, because you were small, but you feel small. And there's all this acting mean energy. You were trying to figure out how to cope with any of that. So that's what you're going to focus on, sweetheart. That's what you're going to focus on. Okay. Who's next?
Okay, I want to go back to Stephanie. She was the one with, she felt like her brain was like.
Yes.
She said earlier that the twisting of her eyes was gone, but her brain is still foggy.
Okay. She needs to do Wayne Cook. She's here, right? She's still here?
I don't know. Stephanie, are you still here?
Because if she's here, I'll do it. But if not, then we'll just have to tell her Wayne Cook. You have to type it in or something. Because she needs to help her brain become unscrambled, because at this point, because if her brain's scrambled and other people are scrambled, that's going to knock her further. Ooh, Amanda, you just shifted, didn't you? I felt something different about Amanda.
And her heart chakra should be open.
What's open?
Her heart chakra.
Oh. Okay, Amanda, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so tell me what's going on. How do you feel?
I feel really good. Normally when I have the tightness and anxiety in my chest, it shoots through my back, and I just felt that just go away. So I don't know.
Yes, well, number 1, you did the healing. Number 2, we held the space. Number 3, Amy, did you do a bobble wand on her?
I did.
Okay. So the one thing about a bobble wand that's very, very important is, oh, good Lord, make it appear. Why do I always have to fight with this? Okay. We're going to use this bobble wand. It's got a magnet on it, but see, I don't know if she can see me or not. But this here is a bobble wand. Okay. So there's nothing exciting about it, except for the fact is that they've been around for a long time. It's just that nobody uses them anymore. And I brought them back to life. And what it does when you're working on your chakras or vortexes or little things is, if I'm going to aim it, like, see right there, I've got one. And once you get going on it, the energy will go through you and like make a pendulum move. Well, see, now look, there's energies in my room that needs healing. Okay, so when you pick up energies, it doesn't always have to be towards the body. You can aim it at your chakras. And when, ooh, I'm following something. They're like, get away from me. I'm sorry. We're creating a vortex and we're opening and we're cleansing. Ooh, see, now it's balancing and it's, oh yeah, now we've just putting more light into the space, chopping it up. There. And you can do this with your chakras. You can aim it on your body. You can clean your house. You can do all these things. There, now it's done. And then you hold it over a candle and you clean it out. So we've been working on you. How do you feel?
I feel great.
Now, how long did you say you had this? You couldn't get rid of it?
17 years. I've had little bouts of where it goes away. I've done cognitive behavioral therapy and stuff like that. I feel part of it is the old program I do fall back into, with the whole not knowing, the unsure.
So
I had a lot of, go ahead.
What you're going to do is you're going to, because you know you so well before, you have a difference of a feeling now that you didn't take, it didn't take you that long to do. You have another 48 hours. And anytime anybody does any healing like this, it can be 48 to 72, depending on how deep we go. You can see it, probably, you'll start having a habit, but what if this particular habit has changed? You can actually begin to notice, hey, I'm not doing that. You need to witness this. You need to witness that you feel different right now, because the people will fall back to sleep to habit if they don't realize that there is something that they can measure, that there is a difference. And because you know you have a difference, you need to witness that it happened. Ego will put you back to sleep. But we do something that's a lot different than a lot of other people. And I would be curious if you reported back to me in a week from now to see how you feel. Has it shown up differently? Has it, because it never usually will come back fully unless you've completely decided you want to go back to sleep. But you're not really going to go back to sleep from what I can see. So that's a good thing.
I noticed, I think I have a lot of resistance. It's like, I know I have the answers and it's just like, I can't break through, but I know I'm knowingly preventing the actual breakthrough. Like, I don't want to feel it,
but you're not really knowing it as much as this particular program took on that this is the identity. Yeah. Now, I don't see that identity there. I don't see that identity there. That signature of that energy is not there, which means your life should change for the better.
Awesome.
Because that's part of what Hope Therapy does. That's part of what we do. And if you understand to witness that there actually was a change. They said that you just have to now address when you silently brood. And then you need to kick that one in the butt, because that one is going to try to pull you back into all the others.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later, my dear. And please kind of report back. I'd be very curious of how much you've changed. Okay.
Right. All right. Bye.
Okay. So how are we doing?
Well, I think Stephanie must have fell asleep because I have not.
All right. That's fine. That's fine.
And Brittany asked, Amy, do you need to custom make the magnet ones? I custom make them all. Can we always use one with magnet?
Yes and no. We are going to do, eventually we're going to do this in the tribal so that you'll be able to, I don't know which month we'll do. If I know enough people have them, then I can actually do a paid class so that you can understand them more, better. But the thing is no. I'm going to tell you why. You could, but sometimes your body is too sensitive for a magnet. Sometimes the frequency is that it needs just to have the stone or whatever it is, whether it's plastic or real stone, whatever it is. The point is it's creating a vortex and it's doing the clearing and doing this. Now, if you put intention behind it, it'll make it better. But with a magnet, sometimes it has a different frequency that can affect whatever it is you're doing. So that's why I made 3. So if you decide, but I only can afford one, you got to decide if you're a person that uses the incense and I'm going to make Amy big.
Yeah, I was just going to pull one out of.
Because we have the incense. This is our sense affuser. It's a bottle one. See, now take the tip off. When she's done showing you, she's going to take and remove the tip. And that means that if you can just throw that away and then put a new one in. Mm-hmm. And now the whole point is that you put scents of whatever oil you choose, put it in your space. You don't have to. That one can do as much as if you have to do the other. Now, all of them are custom because one, it is energetically chosen. And then there is the Reiki energy that's in there. So this is like, now, is that got enough of the hit on the bottom to wobble? Okay, as long as it can do it on its own, because sometimes if it can't do it on the side, is it heavy enough on the end is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so sometimes people will say, well, I don't want to buy all 3. That you don't have to. You can just buy the one that has the incense and you don't have to use an incense. You can do without. The magnet I use more for a physical healing, but you kind of need to know how to use that to some degree, but it is very helpful and healing at the same time. But
okay, Brittany, text me because I'll never remember.
Okay, so anyways, let's see what we've got here. Can you see that on, can you use it on children? Yes. That's why I said, do it without the magnet, because sometimes children don't need that magnetism. But if they're frozen, if the particular things are frozen, the meridians, then that has been very beneficial. If you have hurts and boo-boos and stuff like that, it can be very beneficial. But just even one without it can be very beneficial as well. Kids use them too.
On how old was like 4 weeks old?
Yeah, she was having gas, or what was I can't remember now.
She would just scream bloody murder. I think she had a tummy ache. I'm not sure. But I mean, and it would absolutely go.
Yeah. And didn't take long.
No, it didn't take long, and she was sound asleep.
Yeah. She uses it on her cat. You can use it in space, around your house if you want to, because I can't sometimes have the smell of sage. So I had to come up with something, and that's why I end up using that with a fuser at the end. And so I cleansed and cleared my space at the same time. Again, intention is what's behind it, is what's important.
Yes.
Okay.
Amber.
Amber. Oh, sweet Amber's been waiting a long time, huh?
You put me up in the corner.
Oh, baby wants to go in the corner. All right, Amber. What is this? Love, whether it is severed or unrequited. There is contempt. So bitterness, anger, and resentment at you, and you learn to begin to reject this, but at the same time, you've kind of went into the identity of this is what relationships are. So we need to help you stop having to bring unrequited and severed love issues in, and they said it has to do with taking and focusing on the instability of what relationships is. So relationships equal instability. Relationships equal unhealthy stability. And then they're saying that it's a frightfully overjoyed, a love-hate thing. And they said that Amber, L1D, sweetie. L1D. Amber says, baby in the corner. Yeah, it's one of her favorite movies. All right. Any other 1 minutes?
Miss Pill.
Pilly, pilly, pilly. Ooh. Between pride and petrified. What do we have here? There's a part of you that's petrified to be proud of yourself. Amy, when we look up pride, it's about confidence, isn't it? Why don't you look pride up? So understanding that pride is about confidence, why can't you be confident? You're petrified about being confident about, is this has to do with your mom's? No, this has to do with toward yourself, around arrogant people. And so then you'll make that, your soul says, oh, we have to make the energy unfair. How interesting. Because there's a part of you that believes in a lack. And so there's a part, so you're doing a split. So you're running in two different directions. Amy, what does that mean?
Okay, there's the noun and then there's the verb. And I believe it's the verb that we want, which is confidence and self-respect as expressed by members of a group, typically one that has been socially marginalized. Okay.
Okay. Understand, it's that self-esteem, it's that self-respect that's about that confidence. You're not able to have it, so you go in one direction and there's another party that goes in another direction. So you're learning to bridge and come into that integration, and the thing that stops you from integrating is there's a certain amount of anxiety that you need to take care of, Pilly. So L1D, Miss Pilly. Thank you for paying it forward for all these wonderful people. Okay, Ames, anything else?
And Miss Brittany.
Miss Brittany. is being hysterical around you. And they're hysterical, and then they're happy-go-lucky is hysterical, so somebody is too happy. And did they get scorned by it? And there's and whoever scorned felt like a certain amount of disgrace, and they're trying to do false self-assuredness that I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I had to do that. And so but this energy is, you're stuck in the contemplation of thinking about how the efforts are unreceived. And so you are really going and, ooh, check this out. They said that, okay, so what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and you've made yourself an it, then all of a sudden you'll be the I, and then so you're going in this interesting cycle because you have different belief systems that are going on at once. You're 8-year-old. Okay, so you have to set down and set boundaries that this 8-year-old needs to learn. So if they're being too happy, then you need to give them a space, if you can, where they can be happy. But if the happy is oh, wow. Okay, so if it's disrupting other people, then you'll have to help them understand, okay, it's great to be happy, but let's respect other people's space, because sometimes people need quiet time. So you have to step up those parenting skills just a little bit more. Or if they're being cranky pants, then you'll just have to, if you know how to already put them in timeout, and that means you don't look at them and you don't talk to them. They know the rules beforehand, and it's a minute for every age they are. And when they're done, then you say, okay, what did you learn? But I say take it a step further and have them put their hand on their head or put their arms down like this on a table, for a little bit of quiet time, just so you know. Pilly, I just did it, sweetie. Pilly's was just a minute ago, 2 minutes ago.
2:56, love.
Okay, so it was a couple minutes ago. You have this. Okay, anybody else?
Sonia.
Okay. Your anxiety picks up when other people's anxiety picks up, and you scorn yourself terribly as a little. Okay, so your 3-year-old comes up and scorns you for not being there. So this goes back when you were little and people didn't know what to do with their emotions, and they were just haphazardly angry, throwing it, venting and all of this. So then that created an arrested development. So now you're an adult, you have to see it in other people that starts to lose their shit. And then it drags you back to having low self-esteem. And so then you have a double dose of what's going on. And then takes you right back to when you were 3 years old and you were helpless. They said that it's time for you to look at that helpless, and it's time for L1D, left wrist, first position deep. It's time to clear that out of the heart, Sonia. Exertion of power, especially when people put their exertion and power, I can't handle this, or Sonia, yeah. Define what exertion looks like to you. Brittany says she has come so far since you last helped me with her. Good. All right. Just have to tweak it, help her. Again, it's that ability to not knowing how to cope, handle, and deal with certain emotions. And then when it comes to not understanding, I can't remember how old she is, but to develop in your skills and your ability to respect other spaces, and it's not all about them. So it's like, how does mama fit in the equation? Should mama yell and scream too? It depends on what level you are to help them to begin to see things. And after a while, they're like, I don't want to hear this. Okay. Anybody else? Nope. Okay, we're all good. That's good. Then I'm going to double check just to make sure nobody else has paid. And we will be here tomorrow. Well, I'll be here tomorrow night, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Wait, when do I see them?
Okay.
United States.
Monday morning at 6:30 Central Time.
So tomorrow's same tomorrow as mine, except for I'm night, your day.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of funny. We thank for all those that have paid it forward. We think that's wonderful. That's interesting. And we give a shout out to all those people that have not been able to be with us and just say, you know, we love it. Understand that we have many people that have their names in the drawing today. So 2 more shows and to get your name in for the drawing for this month. That's 15 minutes free time with me. There is a tribal unit. So for $36 a month, you end up getting 6 particular events, which is a lot of money. That you are really only like paying for one and getting all that free stuff from me. But you also get to talk to the interns. You get to talk about, like we've talked about, what is abandonment, help you see from a different perspective of what it is. So certain things will be shown. Certain questions will get you pondering and thinking and getting you deeper than just your spiritual self and beginning to notice that it's, oh shit, it's hooked to this, and that you're beginning to ready to heal it. So what else do we have? Yes, I still take appointments, you know, one-on-one personal appointments. So you look at that. What else? Yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm not putting it on YouTube. This is my computer, or the lag time, something's changed. It has been lagging.
Oh yeah, the lag time from when I post something from my phone till it shows up on the computer is like 5 seconds, if not more.
Yeah, exactly. This is me. It looks like me looking and talking to Pilly. That was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, seriously.
Yeah, the lag has gotten so bad.
Huh. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, you guys have been great. So take this journey with me. You know, you can like me on YouTube, so that if you can't find these, usually I'll put them up on YouTube. It helps when you like and share and leave comments and all of that. If you understand, you can go to the fan page and you can look under videos, and you should see all of the past videos that we've ever done. Yes. And so Tuesday in the tribal class, we're going to have question and answers. So I have no idea what the tribal hour will be about, but I'm sure it's a tribal hours.
Yes.
You know, I try to say 1 hour, but I haven't learned the wheels yet, people. So it's a benefit for you.
But you know what, Brenda? Nobody minds.
Oh, well, of course not. All right. I appreciate you guys. I love it. What's that, sweetie?
I don't think you even really mind.
No, when spirit gets going. Well, part of one thing is that when we did the healing tool, which was which one? The sensory one.
Sensory one, yes.
I've noticed that people don't, if they can't do color or number, they can just jump in with thought and catch the thoughts and notice how they distinctively change. It'll be like one word out of the whole thing that will switch. So you can check it that way. You don't even have to worry about what to ask. Sometimes you're just showing up. Chances are somebody's got a question, or spirit will just tell you things anyway, and then you'll get your questions. Spirit knows exactly what's going on. And I mean, I'm like, I don't even know what tribal thing you want me to do. And then all of a sudden it's like, I tried fixing it now. And then finally it was like, oh, you're going to do the tribal thing like in 2 days. What? Type this. What? And of course, the proofreading, I'm notorious for not doing any. Oh, Nicole Byers, we'll take her. She says, can I do a 1 minute? Yes, I thought I seen Nicole come on.
Yeah.
All right. Where's my... I made my pendulum disappear. Nicole, sweetheart, yes. Normally I look to the room. Fanatical. Something you're completely focused on is fanatical. But at the same time, you are learning that there is a personality thing you don't want anymore. So the dark night of the soul is going to make you go, I'm going to change. No, I don't want to. I'm going to change. No, I don't want to. And so it's just going to feel like one hell of a long night. And I'm sorry to tell you it that way, but there's like one of the clues you can look at is that something that disgusts you or disdainfulness. You can see it for how it affects the self-efficacy of being able to get that end result that you're looking for. And there's a lot of self-judgment. But you're also doing repulsion and compatibility. It's like, I can tolerate it. No, I can't. So be aware, Nicole, that you got two sides going on and the integration needs to happen. Sounds a little possessive, you know. Oh, boy. Okay. Thank you, Brittany. She says, I've learned so much from hearing other people's stories that resonate with me. It is things I would never thought of. Absolutely. Yes, that's what we love. We love it. What else do we have here? Yay, thanks. Billy says, do you answer specific questions? Just checking. If you have certain things, okay, if it's about your life, chances are no, because the question's about spirituality and growing. If you have any questions about the glossary, the things I'm teaching, if you're uncertain exactly how spirit thinks about something that it's teaching, we can make clarifications. I watch videos and take notes of points of healing. Yes, if there are certain type of healing parts of you that you're like, but I'm not quite getting it. Now, I can answer some of those. We're going to try to keep some of those healing things to just be for the healing class. But again, if you've taken that last video course with me, then what will happen is that if you've got continued questions on that, then yes, we will talk about that as well. Let me check and see what else we have.
Brenda Smoke.
Yes, I do not want to, but okay, I'll take and give her a reading. It sounded like a command. I'm like, no. All right, Miss Brenda. You have an alarm bell that's going off, and you're hiding behind. You're hiding. The alarm went off. You're hiding, and there's a lot of hatred energy, like a self-loathing or a loathing. You're feeling it, and this worries you because you can feel how there's a loss of power going on. And you're becoming more aware of these particular things that's happening, but this impending doom, it's kind of like freaks you out or something. There's a really strange feeling. So there's some anxiety, Brenda, that's building up, and you don't need it. So you need to make sure you do L1D. Get rid of that anxiety and all the things I may have talked about. You need to get that out because it's starting to feel like rejection. No. So be aware of that, Brenda. Okay, what else? Anything else?
That's all I got.
Okay, you guys are great. And let me get the screen corrected. Okay, that's good. We will talk to you. What do? We resolve to evolve.
Heal instead of deal.
We can heal that.
Feel it to heal it.
And most of all, please, please stay blessed.
Stay blessed.